And and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the Code for Giants Cup, week number 15. Oh, I have to pick that up. As we are jumping right into our first series of the night. Welcome to your Brazilian week, or your weekly dose, bi-weekly dose of Brazilian StarCraft. I'm of course your host Live VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, the people in the chat, and by my lovely plushies as well. Do need to quickly just set some things up out of game. I do have you covered, and bam, here we go. Spawning in the top left hand corner of Ghost River, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing his clan PWT. It is Elevolts. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the Brazilian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Team Host Masters. It is Vic Bansimer. Let's go. And good morning, everyone. Good morning again. It is great to be back. I did not get a lot of sleep after casting last night. I slept like, what, 4 hours? But we are here. We are back with your bi-weekly dose of Brazilian StarCraft. Of course, last night we were live with the SCL, with the StarCraft Evolution League, and we will be live tonight as well with some more StarCraft Evolution League action. Oh boy, Group B. Group B is going to be tonight. Of course, I should once again be casting with Yaku. Still uncertain of that. Yaku might be available, he might not be. I will let you guys know if he does join me or not later on in the evening. Otherwise, the show, of course, will go on. And I do apologize for being a little bit distracted here at the start of the broadcast. But I guess some fun news, in a way, in a sense. Because of Black Friday, because of the sales that are going on, I did finally invest into a new PC, into new PC parts, and they should be arriving today. I am just concerned that they're going to arrive while I'm casting. And if that happens, I won't be able to receive them, and then they're going to be sent back to the post office, and then I'm going to have to go and get them like at a later day, at a later time. And the problem with that is I don't have time. The problem with that is that of course we have a very busy schedule for casting, and I probably wouldn't be able to pick it up until like next week, most likely. Yeah, most likely sometime next week will be the next time I'm free to be able to pick up the PC parts. So that's what I'm most concerned about. So I'm just trying to keep an eye on things. Keeping an eye on tracking while I can, to see if I can hopefully receive the package. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Regardless, we can dive in. If you're in the chat, predictions, they should be open by now. Place your bets on who you think will take the series as we are diving into our PvT. Let us go. We do have our initial matchup here. It is going to be a double gas opener out of Elevolts is going Rax into Factory into a more delayed CC, so it's going to be a delayed economic start here from our Terran player. Meanwhile, across the map, standard opener out of Vic Bansimer, just going for his gate expand into his tech of choice. It is going to be the Twilight Council. Twilight Council is on the way. Whew, let's go. So we are settling in. So far, so good. Pretty standard openers. I mean, I say that Elevolts is going for more tech-heavy starts. Meanwhile, the first Reaper does get caught out. Very nice catch here by Vic Bansimer. Shuts down the Reaper. Checking the vision. Has a Terran player scouted the main base? He has not. The tech has not been revealed. So Elevolts is in the dark. Is going to be in the dark as what's going on. Meanwhile, we do have a 1-1-1 into Banshee opener. Interesting. When we have seen this rise in popularity in pro play, it can be risky to really commit into Cloaked Banshees. The reason for this is because you delay tank production. Tank production is delayed, and if Elevolts commits into a more gateway heavy composition with more Blink Stalkers, he can and he will punish this. As this army is going to be quite exposed and quite vulnerable. So we'll see if Vic Bansimer does move out. We'll see how many gateways he throws down. That is going to be the big thing for me to keep my eye on. As for the time being, we have how many gates? Two gateways and a robo. Looks like a standard opener here. Looks like 2-gate blink into a third, I would imagine. Stalkers are moving out, but there's no way to reinforce this. There's not that many Stalkers. I don't really see Vic Bansimer really pushing into the main. He's going to be parked just outside, keeping eyes and tabs on the natural. Ooh, third gateway gets thrown down. Okay, going up to 3 gateways. Show us the Warp Prism. If the Warp Prism is on the way, then he can try to blink into the main. So far, forced to recall back home. First Banshee has arrived. Cloak is done, and do we have any detection? Observer's on the way. Oh my god, no cloak! It doesn't activate cloak. Banshee goes down. Massive pick off Vic Banser. He shuts down the initial aggression. Elevolts, he is in a bit of trouble here. Second Banshee's moving up, but now Vic Banser, now he knows. Now he knows what to look out for, what to be ready for. We have two observers soon to be on the field here. Hopefully one across the map and one defensively back at home. And it's been a rough start for the Terran. Has been a rough start. Ay. Not like this. As Advancer, he's going to be going for the third. He's going to be going for the third base. Is just expanding behind this. Stalkers are moving out to apply some pressure. We are still making more Cyclones, which I find really odd. The Cyclone production is an interesting one here from the side of the Terran. Stalkers, they try to get behind the mineral line. Cyclones will zone away. So far, so good. Vic Banter, he is going to be able to keep up. Ooh, goes to the Cyclone, does get one down. Nice pickoff. Cyclone does fall. Does catch a Cyclone. Vic retreats from there. Likewise, Banshee back at home. Does get 2 probe kills, but just 2 so far. There's still the Observer. There's still plenty of Stalkers. Gets a 3rd probe towards the end. Blink not quite being utilized here. The Banshee does manage to get away just barely. Likewise, across the map. Oof. Stalkers do get out as well. They get a handful of SCVs, but no major critical damage here. So far, Elevolts is holding. He's holding quite nicely. I'll be honest, if we had high ground vision in the main, I do think these Stalkers could dive in and could wreak havoc here, especially if they avoid the bunker placements, if they avoid, I mean, these are vanilla Marines as well. There is so much potential for these Stalkers, but Vic, he's not going for it. He doesn't really have vision here in the main base. He's focusing here at the natural instead, and as a result, he's kind of missing out on one of the big advantages of Blink Stalkers. Again, the big advantage here is Blink Stalkers are so mobile, they don't have to push into the natural. They can dive into the third, into the main, wherever they want. Now there are bunkers finishing up. Now Vic is getting ready, but this is only just now finishing. There was a window where we could have taken advantage of the Terran. So Vic, he has missed that window. Does manage to pick up... Oh! Nothing quite yet. The bunker survives. Banshee survives. One Stalker goes down. That was a better trade for the Terran. Back across the map, Vic, he is saturating his third base and taking in towards Robo production. Immortal production, Colossus on the horizon. The bay is done, or the bay is almost done. Soon to be getting into more Colossus. Vic is getting there. He's getting there. New build, new me. I mean, that's only if I receive the parts, though. It's, I mean, again, that's what I'm a little bit anxious about, not gonna lie. As Banshees, they do hit the natural. Oh! Rotating in between the bases. Vic trying to keep up. Cannon isn't quite done. Probes are going down. So far, 2, 3, 4, 5 probe kills. Very nice damage so far by the Protoss, by Elevolts. Banshee has arrived. Ooh, finally, one Banshee goes down. And the other is going to survive. Oh, one more shot. Up. What about us? Up. He gets it. Barely does get it at the end. But for 8 probes, I mean, not the worst trade for the Terran for Elevolts. Vic, meanwhile, poking in once again. Pulling away. Working on his Colossus, of course. Does have a second Immortal. Now soon to take his gases. Getting to a 4th base. So far, macroing quite nicely here. And the pressure is on the Terran. But he has been building up. And finally, he's going to be just now starting Stim. This is late, by the way. Stim is heavily delayed. Stim's still not even halfway done at this point. 3rd base being taken. But it does feel like Elevolt's build has been disrupted because of the Banshee production. As the boys are being pulled here just to throw down some deepers. There we go, making their way over towards the 3rd base. We go. Oh, as it is a little bit misplaced here, and yeah, Elevolts, his build overall has been a little bit shaky from his end. Meanwhile, Vic is moving out. He, I believe, does have eyes on the army. And with help the Observer, he does spot the main. We're now pushing in massive Colossus wipes. Stim is not yet done. And without Stim, I mean, the Protoss, we can push in. Boys are being fooled. Swipes going off here on the Marines. Widow Mines, they have potential. They do borrow. They do go for the Colossus. But it's still not going to be enough. And reinforcements on the way, and LVT is in so much trouble here. Being pinned against the wall. Stim does now complete. Does have it available. Does he get the third CC? No shot. Up. He gets it. Does get it in the end. Massive pickup. 14 SCVs. A command center as well. And Elevolt, not like this. He's going to be stuck on 2 bases. Does have a 4th CC on the way, so we can take that as a 3rd. But Vic Bansimer, he has a real 4th base. Doing all this with only 1 Colossus as well. Impressive. Quite impressive. Getting to a more immortal production when really needs more Colossus. Vikings moving forward. Elevolt will break out. Gets a Colossus. Decent force field, slowing down and catching some of these SCVs. Crippling the economy. Elevolt is down to 19 workers. Barely an economy. No mining here at the natural. Barely any mining here in the main. He even pulled the workers in the main. Jesus. He pulled all the boys. And Elevolt is completely all in. He's completely all in at this point. It's all or nothing. Without any splash damage, the Bio Army can actually stim in. Elevolt can stim and chases down, forces a recall, gets 1, gets 2 Immortals, High Templar rallying into the army, 2 more High Templar go down, massive pickoffs. And keep going. Send it, Pappy, send it. Back at home, what is it to defend? Storm did complete, there's only 1 High Templar. Sorry, 2 High Templar. 2 High Templar, soon to be with Storm, with 1 each. Colossus no kind of position, shield battery is still on the way. And Elevolt, he has a larger army supply. Ooh, massive storms though, oh my god. Those storms are crazy. Storm 12 up, Colossus goes down. The storms were good, but there's still so many Marines, so many Marauders, such a buy-heavy composition. Elevolt, he has to send it here and now, but he's running out of steam, he's running out of energy. GG gets called, he has nothing left, and Vic Bansimer will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. We'll take a lead in the series, and there we go. We'll take a lead in the series, and we'll see if Elevolt can bring it back. I believe they're both comparable in skill, but again, the build from the Terran player was a little bit lackluster. It did hurt him more than anything. I'm referring to the Banshee. I'm referring to the Cloak Banshees getting into delayed 0 tank production, getting to a delayed 3rd base, getting into delayed stim, delayed bio upgrades. The Banshee play wasn't quite worth it in the end. It did kill some probes, that is true, but it was also a big investment, and alas, in the end, so much more was delayed in favor of Cloak Banshees. With that, GG. GG, well played. Victor does take game 1, and now we're getting ready for game number 2. After the series, we can go over the bracket, we can catch up on all the matches, catch up on everything that is going on. Again, for those that are unfamiliar, this is your bi-weekly dose of Brazilian StarCraft. You know, plenty of amazing Brazilian players are lying before us. Looks like we do have a couple of walkovers that are being calculated here, that are being updated on the bracket itself, which is a little bit unfortunate. Just some walkers, but regardless, we're embracing the round of 16. And game 2 is going to be on Amphi. It is going to be on Amphion. Also, before I forget, before I get ahead of myself, a big shout out to Sidecons in the chat. Baby God, thank you so much, Sidecons, for subscribing with Twitch Prime for the 2nd month. Thank you so much, Sidecons. We do appreciate the support. Always, Pappy, always. 1 month in a row, so thank you so much for the consecutive support. And yeah, now we can focus on our series, on our match. Again, our first broadcast of the day. We got a lot of work to do. Going over this broadcast, of course, SEL later on tonight, a lot of VODs to edit, VODs to work on. YouTube, of course. I'm on it. I'm on it. Don't you worry. There we go. As you can hear the beeps, and we are getting into that 2nd game. Let's go. Let us go. And spawning. in the bottom left-hand corner of Amphion, we have our Brazilian Protoss player leading the series 1-0, representing Team Host Masters. It is Vic Bansimer. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran player from land of Brazil, representing Clan PWT. It is Elevolts. Did go for an interesting build previously, going into Cloak Banshees, and you know, they killed some workers across the map, that's true, but as we were mentioning, like, so much more was heavily delayed in favor of that, so we'll see if Elevolts goes for something a little bit different this time, goes for a different approach. We shall see. As for the time being, we are going to be settling in. Going to be settling in once again. It's going to be a double gas opener here out of Elevolts. Is going double gas. And this should lead for a faster factory. So double gas leads into a faster factory, leads into a delayed CC on the low ground. So once again, it is going to be tech heavy. Now last game, this led into Banshees. This time, it could lead into Banshees. Oh, same setup, by the way, as he floats the Raxes away. But it could lead into Banshee play again. It could lead into something crazy like BCs. That'll be wild. I'm curious. My eyes are going to be here on Elevolts. But I'm hoping it isn't quite the same build. I'm hoping he does have like an adaptation here. Good. As for now, the factory is still in production. Meanwhile, back at home, standard opener, just gate expand here from Vic. Probe Scout here on the right hand side, I don't blame him. He's looking for a proxy factory, proxy racks, proxy starport as well. Just making sure that everything's on the up and up and making sure that his opponent isn't doing anything too crazy. Likewise, CC on the high ground for Elevolts. Very safe play here. CC on the high ground, there's the starport. Show us the tech lab on the racks. If we see the tech lab, it should be the same build. Meanwhile, actually going okay. A little bit indecisive here. It looked like it was going to be a tech lab first on the factory, but no. There it is. Tech lab on the racks. Oh, yeah. God, it's almost died. We are primed for an add-on swap. Drinking all the water. Meanwhile, Vic is going for something different. He's going for a Stargate instead. Now, Stargate openers, they are a little bit better when it comes to longer games and longer game states. They can be punished by early all-ins and early pushes, but as we can see, this isn't really going to be an early push or an early move out. It is just going to be harassment with Banshees. Do see, based on the scouting from Victor, he has not yet to confirm what's going on. Saw the factory, but didn't see much else. As it does fly back, Tech Lab on the factory. This could be for early tank production. This could actually be for a 2-base all-in. We'll see if he does invest into those tanks. If you recall, that did not happen last game. As the production buildings are repositioning. Likewise, it's going to be Oracle first out of Vic. Does he go into Phoenixes? There we go. Oracle into Phoenix. Phoenixes, they can shut down this Banshee, but again, it was Oracle first, so there's going to be that much less anti-air to work with. There is going to be a Revelation. Oracle moves out, and does he come across the Banshee? Oh, he barely does spot it. He saw. There we go. He did notice it in time. The Oracle saw. The player saw it as well. Oracle turns back around. The Banshee gets caught out. Cloak is not yet done, and the first Banshee will fall. Very nice cleanup here by Vic. Back at home. One tank into add-on swap? Ooh, that's risky. That's very risky here for Elevolts. Going for the single tank. Army moves out, gets eyes on the production. Yeah, just going ham here. And what shoots up? Nothing. Nothing shoots up. SCVs are going down. Not too many SCVs, as the Oracle is having a hard time keeping up. But there we go. 2 SCV kills. So much lost mining time. Oh my god, that is brutal. The Banshee does sneak out across the map. That's still going to be 5, 6, 7 SCVs. And there's just no income. This is game-ending damage. 100%. This is game-ending. That is insane. This Banshee has a lot of work to do as well. Oracle does escape, no NG for Revelation. Banshee does get into the main, and there should be an observer, but there is not. This is a slip up here from Vic. He knew there were Banshees coming, but did not get any detection. As the Banshee does wreak havoc, gets 4 probe kills so far, can get even more. Keep going! No, keep going! There's Revelation. Banshee gets cleaned up, and Vic, he handles this quite nicely. Only 4 probe kills. Only 4, he can go back to mining. Significantly less damage than what Elevolts took back across the map. From here, he's just resaturating and taking into his bay into Colossus. Now, both players have sustained economic damage, but Elevolts has sustained much more. Much more economic damage here from the opener. As Vic does move out once again, and he's looking for more. Oh, boy. He is looking for more. For now, they're going to be dragged back by another Banshee. Once again, 6 probe kills. I mean, this is racking up. I mean, the lack of cannons, lack of defensive or units being staying back at home here to defend is actually costing Vic quite a number of workers. He's on 3 bases, and Vic is still ahead, but yeah, the Banshee harass, it's paying off. It's something. Back at home, going Mass Cyclone. Interesting choice. Mass Cyclone has now been scattered. Now, against this kind of army composition, I would love to see not Colossus, but Immortals. I do think Immortals, they can fare quite better here against this kind of army. Instead, we have Disruptor production. Did the first Disruptor complete? It did. We have Disruptor first into Observer. But Immortals are really going to be the unit you need against mechanical units like this, against Marine Cyclone. I mean, ideally, you want both. You want both Colossus and Immortal, but oh god, we're just going for the all-in. And I think this is necessary. Yeah, Elevolts, he cannot macro out of this. It's all or nothing. Vic, he should recognize the SCVs are missing, and he should be getting ready back at home. We need shield batteries. We need shield batteries here desperately at the natural base. As the army's moving out, Vic does not delay it. The Nova needs to connect as well. And Elevolts, he could just win the game here and now. Could be all over. Tank siege up, Nova goes off. Grazes the army, tank goes down, but the Cyclones, they get their lock-ons. There's the overcharge, keeping the Disruptor alive. Nice pickups! Pickups here on the Cyclones. Immortal gets surrounded. Boys are being pulled here. The Cyclones, they do survive, but now they have no support. Now they have no buffer. And Vicky's holding. Is holding on. He pulls more SCV or more probes. Not even. Just dives on the army. He's bleeding out some Stalkers. He's out the Disruptor as well. Needs more Warpins. Does get 1 extra lift. 2 Cyclones left. As soon to be 1. GG gets called. Elevolts does not have enough left. And Vic Bensimer will take the series at 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Very solid play there out of Vic. I mean, I would say that the Banshees still got more damage than they needed to, but regardless, outside of that, he was playing very well when it came to harassing across the map, when it came to shutting down the first Banshee, and of course when it came to that last-minute defense as well, lifting up all the Cyclones, pulling the probes when he needed to as well, letting that purification over, and focusing down the tank. Did everything right in those final moments, so very well done, very well played there by Vic. Meanwhile, Elevolts had some interesting builds, is what I will say. Had some more unorthodox and unusual builds. Alas, did not quite work out well for him. Alas, it was quite risky of builds to go for, going for those Banshees time and time again. And very odd follow-ups as well, and it was punished quite hard. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations to Victor, and now we can head on over to the bracket to figure out where exactly we are and where we are headed next. Oh boy. Let us catch up as we have a lot of updates. We have a lot of updates here. From the top, we have Master. Master, he is going up against his opponent in the round 16. Antonio, they're facing off in their best of 3. Scrolling down, we have AlisoN. AlisoN takes down Vitorino 2-0. AlisoN is waiting in the quarterfinals. Likewise, Tatagiba versus Purple is currently ongoing. They are mid-series. Winner goes up against MTT in the second round. Scrolling down, we have Erik. Erik is waiting for the winner of Madova and Thaipan. They're still facing off. I would love to cast me some Erik, but alas, we have to wait a little bit longer. Scrolling down, we we have a Claw. Claw gets a walkover over Mantequilla, or Mantequilla, if you will. Margarine, butter. So Claw does get the walkover. Claw waiting in the next round. Likewise, there's some more walkovers. We have KamiKaze up against Snake SP. SP? Snakes. But KamiKaze is up against Snakes. They're currently mid-series. The victor is waiting for the winner of that in the next round. Oh boy. So we have a lot of updates here. We have a lot of players moving on. And it's going to be on us to wait for a series to open up here. Ooh, as we just got an update, KamiKaze takes down Snakes 2-0. Up next, KamiKaze versus Victor. That should be the next series. Oh boy. So the lower half of the bracket is progressing quite nicely. There are certain matchups that are delayed, is what I will say. There are certain matchups that are looking a little bit delayed here and may take a little bit longer to really get going. We'll get around to that eventually. But for the time being, at least we can focus on our next match on the quarterfinals. KamiKaze. Beautiful. Beautiful. I believe KamiKaze is on Eximius Gaming. I believe. So yeah, from here we can go on a short break. When it comes to the favorite players in this tournament, we are missing some of them. We are missing Inexorable. Without Inexorable, without Yanji, or without Yen, I look to Erik and Master. They are the top 2 seeds in the tournament. Erik in the upper half. Master in the upper half, Erik in the lower half. So they are primed to face off in the finals. We'll see if anyone can stop them. We'll see if anyone can slow them down. As the pressure is on. For now, though, looks like we're going to be going on a short break. The players need a moment to set up their vetoes, and when we return, we will have our next series. We will have, most likely, again, Victor versus KamiKaze. That should be up next. Now, though, we'll see you soon after the break. See you soon. See you soon. and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OSC as we have returned with our second series of the night with a PvP. Terran vs Protoss between these two amazing players. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the red Protoss player. We just featured him. He just took down Elevolts 2-0, the Brazilian Protoss player. It is Victor Vansimer. Senor Victor pack. Here we go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the blue Terran representing Ximius Gaming. It is KamiKaze. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is time to get your Gamba going. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you believe will take the series. Will it go the way of the Protoss or the Terran? Up to you to decide. Now, Victor did look solid against his previous opponent, against Elevolts, but what I will say is that KamiKaze, looking at the bracket, is the strongest Terran player in the entire bracket. KamiKaze, he is primed to make a deep run in this tournament, to make it to the upper echelons of the scene here of Brazil. And we'll see if Victor can slow him down. We'll see if he can stand up to him. It's going to be a tough ask. It's not going to be an easy one, as we do see an eBay block here at the natural. We have the eBay block. We'll delay the expansion. Likewise, we do have Victor also slipping in towards the main. Getting full scout does confirm the racks expand. Going for the gas, going for the gas steal in the main. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. I mean, because of the eBay block, this is going to be a factory follow-up, not a CC. But Victor has no idea. He is late to scout. The eBay is almost done at this point, and Victor's expansion is going to be heavily delayed. Is going to be heavily delayed. Is going for a zealot first. And should be aware, yep, there we go. Does scout, does confirm that the eBay is almost done here at the natural, and Victor is forced to expand elsewhere. He's forced into the unnatural natural. Here we go. Is forced into the unnatural natural. eBay under fire. Is going to be a Robo Opener. Very safe play here by Victor. What does a Robo Opener lead into? It leads into early Immortal production, and leads into an early Observer, early War Prism, and into early Colossus as well. If KamiKaze were to follow this up with a 2-base all-in, then Victor would be safe and sound against it. This safe opener can turn into something more aggressive, that is true. If we see a War Prism, then we could see a Depth Harass across the map. So we'll see what initial units Victor does go for, as he's still working on that eBay. Meanwhile, we do have a Cyclone follow-up for KamiKaze. Interesting. He is getting into those Cyclones. With this KamiKaze, he's going to be much more assertive. Oh, was that a kill? Uh-oh. That should not have happened. Kill not a cancel. Massive slip up here by KamiKaze. 125 minerals down the drain. Likewise, canceling his follow-up racks, I believe that was. CC on the way. KamiKaze, his opener here is a little bit lackluster. Definitely leaves much to be desired, but still have Cyclones. He still has his Cyclones. He can still be aggressive, still be assertive. He's moving out, and if we don't have an Immortal to defend, then I do worry here for Victor. He's rushing into a base, so it looks like Victor, he's rushing into Colossus production, but he is choosing to skip the Immortal. Yeah, no Immortal, going for the Prism instead. That means Victor has that much less to defend. What does he have? What is his army? The army is 1 Zealot and 1 Adept, and it looks like Victor is being caught with his pants down. Cyclones have arrived, probes are falling, the shield battery is too late, and Victor, he may just die here and now to the Cyclone aggression. It may just end. I mean, there's almost, again, nothing to work with here. 1 Sentry and 1 Zealot. Cyclones, they get on top of the shield battery. And there are more Cyclones on the way. And this is snowballing out of control. And again, because it's a War Prism and not an Immortal, I mean, there's still just nothing. There's still nothing here. There's one gate. There's one gateway. He's warping in 1 Stalker at a time. Colossus now is on the way, but that won't save the base. This natural should go down. And without a natural base, in a 1-base versus 2-base scenario here, I have to favor the Terran. As Victor is being punished for his opener, you two need to be quite strict and quite clean when it comes to your openers in SE2. Otherwise, you get punished. You get punished real hard. As you can see here, so that is going to be a kill on the Nexus. You can see here that Victor is working towards War Prism speed, towards the Colossus drops, but that's still a ways off. Cyclones, they rotate over towards the main. Victor, he has a force field available here for the for the ramp at least, but not much else. As he's moving out, KamiKaze looking for a proxy, looking for a ninja base. At this point, is miles ahead, getting to his own 3-1-1 setup. Stim, combat shields, bio. Does try to get some scouting. I mean, does confirm that there is a natural base that's getting saturated. Colossus drop into the main. Thankfully, there are no Vikings. Thankfully, the Cyclones are across the map. So this Colossus can get damage done. Oh, the Prism. No, Prism goes down. Colossus as well. And there it is. GG. KamiKaze takes game number 1. GG, well played again. KamiKaze with a very aggressive start, despite having some mistakes, if you recall, when it came to his initial production. Likewise with the initial eBay block as well. Did make some mistakes, did make some slip-ups, but the overall Cyclone push and Cyclone aggression was still on point. And we saw that Victor, he was taking some chances, taking some risks. He was skipping warp-ins, he was skipping his second gateway, he was rushing into Colossus, and we saw that when you do something like that, you leave yourself vulnerable. If you're rushing into a Colossus and if you're skipping the Immortal, you're leaving yourself vulnerable and there's nothing at home to defend. And we saw KamiKaze take it then and there. Does take it then and there. And now we're getting ready here for game number 2. Getting ready to see if Victor can bring it back. We shall see. Are heading on over. So we are getting into Golden Aura as game 2. Oh boy. Getting into Golden Aura, and I'm most curious when it comes to the openers. I'm curious when it comes to the builds of choice here from both players. We'll see if we take more chances, if we take more risks, or if we play things a little bit safer instead. I am quite curious to see both from the side of both KamiKaze and Victor. Here we go. So getting into game 2. We're going to be spawning into a much larger map in the map pool. Golden Aura, known for its macro, known for its longer rush distance by ground, very defendable 3-base setup. So here we could embrace a bit of a longer game state. We could. Here we go. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Eximius Gaming. It is KamiKaze. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player from the land of Brazil, representing his team host Masters. It is Victor Bansamer. Senor Victor. Let's go. Let us go. So again, I'm hoping we can at least sink our teeth into this series and have a back and forth, or at least dive into a mid-game scenario. We shall see. So we are getting into this. So far, gate expand setup, standard opener. Likewise, KamiKaze going for his own racked expand. This time, no SCVs moving out across the map. This time, there is no eBay block. It does make sense. As I mentioned before, the rush distance by ground is longer on Golden Aura, so it's a little bit more difficult to really get something like an eBay block off as well. Oh, as that is not an eBay, that is not a factory, that is a second racks. This could be a one-base all-in. This can very quickly, very easily turn into a one-base all-in. It could just be like, I don't know, 2-racks Reaper. 2-racks Reaper into an expansion. We'll see. We'll see how hard KamiKaze commits, and if he does throw down a second and even a third and even a 4th racks. Because this could be a 4-racks one-base all-in where you pull the boys. But the gas mining, oh, we do get a spray, is leading into Reapers. Okay, so it's going to be Reaper production. 2x Reaper into an expander. This is not an all-in, but this is an aggressive build. It is quite aggressive here, and the goal is to get some economic damage. The goal here is for KamiKaze to flex his micro, to flex his control, and to wreak havoc in the mineral line. And once again, if Vic Mansomer, if he skips out on some units, if he delays warp-ins, if he avoids his initial Adept or Stalker, then he could be in a lot of trouble. First Reaper does reveal itself, hunts down the probe. Expansion's on the way. CC on the high ground, so yeah, 2x Reaper into an expansion. It'll be a delayed expansion, that is true, but really the pressure is going to be on Victor here to minimize losses and to save his mineral line. Unfortunately, with that probe going down, he doesn't know how many Reapers are coming, and he doesn't know to get a shield battery in the main. He's scouting for a proxy. Reaper dips in. Stalker, it does pop out. Second Stalker on the way. So far, so good. Now, Stalkers aren't the most mobile of units, so Victor has to be very careful with how and where he does maneuver. And I believe the second Cyclone has yet, sorry, the second Reaper has yet to reveal itself. Now he has. Now Victor is aware. Shield battery on the way in the mineral line. Nicely placed. Reapers are being active. And KamiKaze does not actually dive in. He respects the position. He respects the Stalker. KamiKaze behind this, getting into his follow-up here. It is going to be a 3-Rax follow-up, rushing into Stim. But you can see the Reapers, they did not even attempt to get any economic damage. I'm a little bit surprised by that. Not gonna lie. I'm a little bit surprised. As he's setting up back at home, has a safety bunker, now taking his expansion. Because of the passive role that these Reapers have taken, I would say that Victor is in a better position. I would say that Victor, he has a lead, bearing in mind that this natural base is heavily delayed, but this is not the only thing that's working for KamiKaze. Remember, it's a 3-Rax. So this is going to be a very hefty Stim timing. It's going to be with Stim, Combat Shields, going to be with +1 as well. This is going to hit like a truck. And it's going to be on Victor to realize what's going on. Once he scouts this, then he can respond. He can go into his own Colossus production, into splash damage. He can then respond. Until then, though, he does not really know what's going on. He doesn't know what to get ready for. It's all about scouting. This is also where we should have a sentry, to be honest. We've been warping in a lot of Stalkers. At this point, a sentry would have been better instead of a 5th Stalker. And what does a sentry provide? A sentry would have provided a Hallucination Scout. And he would have gone into the main. So Victor is playing very blind. Very blind play here by Victor. Because of that, he has incomplete information. Because of that, he doesn't know how much danger he's in. He is saturating his 2 bases, is going for a robo follow-up. But he is in the dark as to what's happening, and the Reapers, they get into the main. Dive into the main base. They do confirm the blink-based opener. They go for the mineral line as well. They're going to be thrown away. There's a shield battery. Yeah, this is not the best, not the best trade here for the Reapers. At the same time, though, the Marines, they bust into the mineral line. The Reapers, they were merely a distraction, and he gets 9 probe kills. He gets a shield battery as well. Shouldn't kill any Stalkers, but 9 probes is a solid trade here for KamiKaze. 9 probes and a bit of hull damage. For how many Marines? 8. 8 Marines and 3 Reapers. Victor's going for a counterattack, but KamiKaze back at home should be able to amass up a comparable army. Likewise, because he saw all the Blink Stalkers, we should see Marauders. We should be seeing Marauder production from KamiKaze. As Marines, they avoid the Stalkers once again. That means there's that much less to defend back at home. And Victor needs to do some counter damage. 3 more gates on the way. That's going to be, what, a 5-gate setup? Jesus. Yeah, 5 gateways on 2 bases. Bunkers under fire. Boys are being pulled to repair. They will be able to. Yeah, the repairs in time. And once again, the Marines are stepping into the mineral line. And what is there at home to defend? There's going to be a recall. Does he recall or does he commit? There's nothing at home. The Marines, they stim in. They go for the probes. Probes, they attempt to be pulled away. Oof. Observer gets caught out. There's the recall. But nice target firing here out of KamiKaze. Does target down another 8 workers. And across the map, the Stalkers, they get nothing done. KamiKaze is all over this. Third base has not been thrown down. I mean, we can't afford a third. I mean, there's 0 saturation here at the natural as well. Victor, he's in trouble. He's going for it. When behind Dark Shrine. A desperation move here from Victor. Going into DTs. Prism gets found. Prism gets... Never mind. Wait, oh, okay. No, he noticed. Did notice in the end. Does a load to go to the Prism. Prism gets shut down as well, which means DTs are going to have a hard time getting across the map. Ay. Nice pick up with the Stalkers. They do get 2 medevacs. But overall, this can still be chased down. Nice target firing here on the Marauder. Oh. Gets 1, gets 2 Stalkers. Almost 3. More reinforcements on the way. And these are losses that Victor cannot afford. Victor, he barely has an economy. Again, he's down to 8 workers here at the natural. Warping in some Dark Templar here and now. Back at home, there should be scans available. There we go. KamiKaze, he has yet to really confirm the Dark Shrine. He saw it earlier with his Marine dive, but I don't think he clicked on it. So he's not fully aware of what's going on. Otherwise, we would see turrets. There should be turrets here if he scouted the Dark Shrine. So if he mules too hard, they could all end here and now. DTs are waddling in. Boys are being pulled. And workers are going to be going down here. KamiKaze, he did miss this. SCVs are falling left and right. Stalkers getting caught out. There's the first scan. Is there enough DPS? He gets 1 Dark Templar. He gets the second Dark Templar as well. That's 14 SCV kills. Oh my god. Victory still in this. The Invisible Man. 15 SCVs. Not bad. Scan misses the Dark Templar as well. Oof. Yeah, that is brutal. Getting a 16th SCV. 17. No, he gets away. What was that? Like 3 scans here for 1 Dark Templar. Very nice damage by Victor. And as it all settles, where exactly are we? So, KamiKaze still ahead economically. Still has a hefty worker advantage plus mules. True. I mean, not really mules because he was scanning so much. Likewise, he's forced to make turrets even though the damage has already been done. From the side of the Protoss, we are now getting into the Heroic Spain, working towards Colossus. Towards it, but we're not there yet. So Victor, tech-wise, is still behind. And without a Colossus, without Immortals, this bio army from KamiKaze can still end the game. It can still just completely end the game. He can stim and he can win. Victor needs time. But KamiKaze is not going to give him that time. He is going for it. There we go. Does force a cancel on the 3rd. Prism slips in across the map. Can get into the main base. Kazi likewise pushing forward. Picks up a couple of zealots. Jumping to main. No, the Prism goes down! More Prism falls. Not like this. The zealots, they are getting some value, but their reinforcements back at home. KamiKaze defends, he attacks, he does it all. There's that 1 Dark Templar, but this time there is a scan. This time he does catch it. And GG, KamiKaze will take the series 2-0. GG. Does take the series in the end here. Again, Victor, I do appreciate, especially here in Game 2, he was able to pose more of a threat. Game 1 was, you know, it ended before it really began. Game 1 was a little bit lackluster there. But Game 2, you know, he definitely had some fight in him, especially with his DTs. But unfortunately, time and time again, the big moment, or the big thing there was that Victor, he was missing the Marine move-outs. If you recall, 2 times we saw Marines skirt around the edge of the map. They skirted around the edge, they avoided the Probe Scout, the Stalker army as well. They got completely undetected, and they were able to just wreak havoc and deal critical economic damage. Because of that, Victor never really got into his game. He never really got into the mid-game. He could never really sustain any kind of 2-base production. He was stuck on like a 1, if not 1.5 base economy the entire game. He never got to stabilize with that. GG. GG, well played. Victor punished for his lack of map awareness and map control. And likewise, KamiKaze taking some risks and being a little bit cheeky and to get away with it. Congratulations. With that, we have some results coming in. Let's go. Let's catch up on the bracket. Exclamation mark B in the chat. If you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves, we have updates here. It looks like finally we have our first semifinalist. You can see there on the bottom of the brackets. KamiKaze takes on Victor. KamiKaze, he's waiting, and he will be waiting for quite some time. Now, the first round has finally finished up. It looks like we had Marova takes down Thaipan 2-0. Now up against Erik in the second round, in the round 16. Currently facing off. Winner goes up against Claw. Winner goes up against KamiKaze. They're in the lower half of the bracket. Meanwhile, scrolling up, we have some upper bracket matches. Master is up against AlisoN. That is going to be an intense PvP. Wish them both the best of luck. AlisoN can definitely threaten Master. Likewise, we have Tatagiba up against MTT as well. Also mid-series. Because they're all mid-series, we have a bit of downtime here. We have to wait for one of them to become available. Once they are, we can jump in. Oh. And they might be. One moment. Here we go. As looks like we might have a series. Okay, we might have a series here. Looks like Tatagiba and MTT, they are just now starting their series. I thought they were mid-series, but no, they're just now beginning. They're just starting things up, so that can be our next series. That can be our next series here. As the lower half of the bracket is going to take a while. It's going to take a while to catch up. So may as well hop around and find some other matches. Go. Here we go as we get things ready. Beautiful. And that is going to be our next series. Meanwhile, we're probably going to follow this into the upper semis, and then we'll catch the lower semis. So the goal here is we cast Tatagiba versus MTT, goes into the upper semifinals, into either Master or AlisoN. We cast that. Then we go down to the lower semifinals. Ideally, that's ready for us by the time we get there, and then into the grand finals. That is the current plan here for the stream. We'll see if we can commit to it. We'll see if that is how things progress. Here we go. Just catching up. Just catching up. The live stream Victor versus Elevolts? I did. Where do I send the replay? Oh, hello, Daniel. Daniel, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Yes. Send it via Discord. Go. We are just setting up here for our next series. When it comes to the veto process, looks like we've gotten rid of Dynasty, gotten rid of Ghost River, Golden Aura, Alkyone. Nothing too crazy, unfortunately. But I hope you're all enjoying yourselves. Hope you're all having a good time. Welcome, everyone. One and all. Welcome. And thank you for redeeming the replay cast. Depending on how fast or how slow this series is, we might... this tournament is, we might jump into replays after this. That's a big maybe, though. It's a big maybe. Here we go. But the reason why I do say that is just because we do have two casts today. We have, of course, this one. Code for Giants Cup leading into StarCraft Evolution League. So we'll see. We'll see how much time we have left. And then we could jump into some replays. Here we go. We'll get there. Until then, looks like we're going to be going on a short break. Very short break. When we come back, we will have our next series. We'll have a fresh best of 3. Looks like they need some time, though, to set things up. So we'll see you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the third series of the night. Welcome back to the quarterfinals of the Code for Giants Cup number 15. Welcome to a ZVZ. Oh my god. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Site Delta, we have the Brazilian Zerg player, the blue Zerg representing Eximius Gaming. It is MTT. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent going for a, oh my god, going for a 13-12. Going for a 13-12, we have the red Zerg player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Giba. Oh boy, here we go. If you're in the chat, predictions open, place your bets while you can, as I'm sure this is going to be a very short, very fast series as we enter this ZVZ. MTT is going for a 15-15. 15 hatchery into a 15 spawning pool. A very safe build. Very safe build here from MTT because he's going for a faster pool. This should lead into faster lings and faster queens. Meanwhile, 13-12 from Giba. Now, Giba has a reputation. He is known for cheesing. He is known for all-inning. He is known for just not playing macro. He does not play macro. He is hyper cheesy, hyper aggressive, and MTT looks like he is aware of that. And I do like this opener for the blue Zerg player, but it will still come down to the control. Still come down to control. Again, this is a 13-12. What does this mean? This means link speed and banelings. Link speed and banelings going to be available here for Giba. He's going for a massive link flood. He's going essentially for an all-in. It is essentially an all-in, and it's going to be on MTT to survive and to defend. And he's going to need those queens ASAP. He's going to need those lings ASAP as well. Lings move out. MTT does not confirm. His Overlord is not quite in position as the Lings. They do skirt around the edge. They do intentionally avoid the Overlord. Oh, but they barely do actually get past it. The Overlord does confirm. Spinecrawler's on the way. Spinecrawler is on the way for MTT. And again, MTT, he can't afford to lose the natural. Doesn't have to save it. He can't afford to lose it, but he needs Lings. And he is not making them. He does need Link production. There we go. Lings are now on the way. This Link production was actually delayed here, though. So a bit of a slip up by MTT. Waiting for that Spinecrawler to finish. Banelings are morphing in. Yeah, the Banelings have arrived. And it's going to be all about unit control here. Oh, MTT is going to try to save the natural. Massive Baneling connection. Already a brutal start for the blue Zerg. Another Baneling goes off. Lings, as long as they deny the Spinecrawler. Actually, they just go for the Queen. They go for the Queen instead. Oh, good control though. Queen does pull away. Second Queen arrives. Spinecrawler has made it as well, and so far, so good. MTT, he is holding, but he has to be very careful with his army positioning. The Queens are on the ramp. Spinecrawler within range to save the expansion. Lings are amassing. These Banelings still have potential, though. These Banelings can't pop off. MTT going for his own Baneling nest to defend. Baneling nest here is on the way. Banelings, they do go for the Spinecrawler. Spinecrawler goes down. Another Baneling about to finish. Oh no! Oh! Massive connection! Oh, a brutal connection here on the Lings. Once again, MTT, he does fly too close to the sun. He does get burned for it. And it looks like that he should have enough. He takes down both Queens. And initially it was a good defense, but the control was lacking for MTT. That's going to be a kill on the army and on the natural. I said before that you can afford to lose the natural base, but not if you die or not if you lose your entire army in doing so. I'm referring to Lings, the Spinecrawler, and the Queens. So Giba, he has done well for himself. He's expanding back at home. MTT does have a greater economy behind this, but the Baneling nest is not going to finish. So the Banelings are not finishing, I should say. Oh no! Not again! Once again, it takes another Baneling to the face. Once again, the control is lacking. MTT holding his own. Baneling looks like this one should finish. Finally, MTT gets one Baneling out. Working towards link speed. Could do with an extra gas geyser. Sorry, with an extra queen, I meant to say. Oof. Baneling gets baited out. It's nice control here by Giba. I mean, again, when it comes to Link Bane here early on, it's all about Link Bane control. It's all about the control here between the players. And MTT has been lacking it. Gonna try to dive on those Banelings. He gets one. Not bad. Not bad here by MTT. Trying to bait the army in. Good Baneling connection. Takes down, it looked like 3 Lings. Once again, MTT trying to bait out that Baneling. Alas, he won't be able to. Oh my god. Once again, playing with fire. Oof. Baneling goes off. Not the worst connection here. MTT is holding his own. Rushing past. Takes out another Baneling. Once again, Tatagiba miscontrolling. But MTT needs some defensive Banelings back at home. Going for the Roach Ward instead. Okay. Interesting. That means he can't save the space. Yeah, he's not going to be able to save it. The base is cancelled. And Tatagiba, he can't even go further from here. Half of the Banelings are finishing up. There he goes off. MTT is holding, but Tatagiba, he's on 2 bases. He hasn't droned, though. He's just now making workers. So he's lacking the economy. Banelings are on the low grounds. Oh, this hatchery, it's going to be killed. Yeah, it's going to be killed. Brutal pickoff. 300 minerals down the drain. Yeah, that is brutal. Likewise, both players being very, very careful, as careful as possible. MTT pulls back. Roach production has begun. There is potential here with these roaches, but I don't see there being too many of them is the problem. Only 2. Baneling goes off. More efficient trade towards the end there. But the scary thing here right now is that because of the second base, I mean, one, Tatagiba now has an economic lead. On top of that, better production. So Tatagiba, he's ahead in economy, he's ahead in production. Now going for his own Roach Warren with this kind of hatch-based setup. MTT can't really counterattack either. Can't really get much done. I'm going to try to, though. He's fanning out his units. I think he gets the hell out of here. Does pull away. With 3 roaches up. Oh my god. Is this going to be enough? We need Ling reinforcements. 10 Lings are in production. They're coming. Spine Crawler's on the way. Lings, they threaten a counterattack. MTT goes back home. He has to make up his mind. Oof, those are not good Baneling connections for the blue Zerg. He gets cleaned up. Yeah, massive pick-off here. Tatagiba, he's getting further ahead. He's got better saturation. He has map control. Shuts down all the roaches. And MTT is struggling here to recover. Baneling moves out. Oof. Was that an A move? Not on move command. Another Baneling gonna get baited. There's 3 Banelings left here for MTT. Meanwhile, we're going in towards the lair. Tatagiba on under 2 base economy. Let's go. Lair is on the way. This can lead into a couple different directions. I don't really know where Tatagiba will go from here, but he can go into, like, I don't know, like a Spire with, like, extra gases and go into Mutatech. He can just go into 2 base Roach, which will be more secure. We'll see. We'll see what Tatagiba does with that lair. Likewise, NTT getting into his own. Going for double gases. He gets a Baneling. It's something. Morphing in his own. Yep, all 4 gases. All 4 gases are being taken. No Roach Warren. This looks like 2 base Muta. This screams 2 base Muta from Tatagiba. And MTT is not quite stood up to defend against that. There's a Spire, as we did mention. Yeah, 2 base Muta. That's the only thing you would go for here with 4 gases. And without a Roach Warren. Walk in, Papi. You can do it. There's so much potential. No. Banelings, they back off. To back off. Spire is almost done. It's halfway done at this point. It's getting there. MTT just focusing on roach production. Finishes his own lair. Lastling gets spotted. Again, there is still potential here with these banelings to gain value at least, but not like this. He's going for his own Spire, but it's so heavily delayed in comparison to his opponents. So MTT's just one step behind, unfortunately. He is one step behind. Mutas are in production. It's going to be 6 mutas from Tatagiba. Likewise, getting into +1 air attack as well to maintain an upgrade advantage here over his opponent. That's 4 links going down. That's an okay trade here. But now Tatagiba knows, and yeah, deals with the remaining Baneling. And here come those mutas. Mutas are moving out. If this was scouted, and unfortunately there was no scout. There's Nova Seer, but didn't go into the main. So MTT, this is on him. He could have scouted earlier, did not. Mutas have arrived. They collapse here on top of the Queen, on top of the Roaches, and they should clean everything up. Banelings are being targeted. And from here, MTT is all in. It is completely all in, and Tatagiba just walls off. Just walls off here on 2 bases. Gets the final Baneling. Should deny the 3rd, and from here, he can just contain. Now, MTT is getting into Corruptor production. Corruptors in high enough numbers can actually contest against mutas, but at this point, I mean, look at the muta flock. 15 mutas! That's crazy! That's a lot of muta. Ling run by, runs into a brick wall, and will barely break through that Evo chamber, but not going to be worth it here in the end. Lings go down, 3rd base falls, mutas, they bust into the main. There are Spore Crawlers in position. Handful of Corruptors as well, so MTT, he will hold on 2 bases, but merely only hold. How the mutas in the air with all those holes? Ay, ay, ay. It looks so frail and so fragile. It's just gonna topple over. Jesus. Regardless. Making the way in. Headed for the main. Links towards the natural. Gas Geist is going down, going for the Spire as well. And I think he should be able to snipe it. And he will. The Spire falls. From here, MTT is trying to go into Infestors. I mean, he's trying to work into Hydras as well. The problem is that MTT can't really afford this kind of army composition on 2 bases. That's the biggest problem. If MTT had a 3rd, I would have faith. I'd be like, okay, you know, he can throw down Spore Crawlers, he can get his 3rd base up and running, he can just defend, turtle, and then move out. But that's not what's happening here. The problem here is that Tatagiba has the economic lead, has more workers, has more bases. So outside of a massive misplay, Tatagiba should be perfectly fine. The one thing that we're really hoping for here is like a Hail Mary Fungal, right? There is an Infestor. If he can land a Fungal, and if the army gets caught over Spores and the Corruptor and Hydra as well, then maybe, but... no. The Infestor, no! Fungal does go off. The Infestor goes down. Ah! Not like this. Infestor falls, Lings overwhelm the Corruptors, they don't shoot down. And 1-1 just finished up for Tatagiba. He does overwhelm the natural. Ah. Not like this. Not like this, man. There's MTT. He's having a bit of copium here at this point. A lot of copium. He's got an OD on car. Oh no. Someone take it away from him. GG gets called, and Tatagiba will take game number 1. Whew. GG. A very, messy game one as well. What I will say is that even though there was a certain point where things were clearly in favor of Tatagiba, before that, it was quite back and forth. There were definitely good moments for MTT. Definitely there were some good moments, especially when it came to the initial 13-12 defense. It was not too bad whatsoever, but following that, that's where he did struggle quite a bit. That's where we saw the unit control of MTT fail him at some critical moments, at some critical times, which allowed his opponent to actually get ahead and take a lead. Initially, MTT was in a better position. He was in a better position. He had 2 bases, he had a higher worker count, and then things very quickly snowballed out of control. With that, GG. With that, GG, well played. Have Tatagiba taking a lead, and oh my god! What just happened? As I am in a little bit of shock here. Okay. I'm in shock. You know what? Let me just quickly pay attention to the bracket here. I think we need to bring attention to it. So I mentioned before that I mentioned before that Master is number 1 seed. Master and Erik, they're number 1 and number 2. They are the top 2 players of the tournament, and we expect Master and Erik to face off in the finals. And I did mention that AlisoN can pose a threat to Master, but I was expecting like an ace match. That's what I was expecting. That's a 2-0. AlisoN 2-0's Master, baby. Ay, that is a crazy result. For a 2-0 win here, that is insane. Very impressive stuff here by AlisoN. For those who don't know, that was a PvP. That was a Protoss vs. Protoss. I mean, we all know how chaotic PvPs can be. True, they can be very chaotic and very intense, and they can be just very cheesy at times as well. Definitely. So yeah, yeah, that is crazy. So very impressive. GG, well played. I'm very impressed by AlisoN. Very well done. Takes down Master, who is favored to have made it to the finals, and suddenly everything is up in the air. Suddenly AlisoN could be the next finalist. I mean, Tatagiba, I can see him threatening AlisoN as well. I could see that best of 3 being crazy, by the way, AlisoN and Tatagiba. Of course, MTT can also threaten that. But yeah, that's insane. That is insane. Scrolling down, we have, of course, Erik versus Claw that is currently ongoing. When it goes up against KamiKaze in the next round, we will get to those matches eventually. For now, we are focusing on the upper matches instead. Focusing on those upper matches. Until then, though, we can calm things down and get ready for that next game. Here we go. Here we go. As I just catch up on the racket. Catching him as well in the chat. I do see shout out to Gustavo. Gustavo is in the chat. He is the admin of the tournament. Is the admin. He's also updating us on some results coming in. Until then, though, we're focusing on this series. Good. Focusing on the series. Looks like we might have a short break, though. It looks like there was a disconnect. Looks like there was a disconnect, so we had to wait for our players to come back so we can all file in. So we might take a moment here before we... we're good. We're good to go. We are good to go. We just need a moment here to set things up. So going to be going in a very short break. Very short, and we should be back with game 2. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I do apologize for the delay, but again, we did have some disconnection issues. We had to wait for our players to arrive once again, and now we are jumping into game 2 of this best of 3 series. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the Brazilian Zerg player, the blue Zerg representing the Planet Heroes. It is Tatagiba. And spawning in the bottom. Oh, who is it? Who is it? No. Okay, good. Someone having some latency issues there, but spawning in the right hand corner, we have the Brazilian Zerg player, the red Zerg. It looks like, yeah, they did experience a bit of latency there. We have the red Zerg player going for his own 13-12. Oh, actually a little bit different there. I believe 14-13. It is MTT. Here we go. Tatagiba, of course, he did flex his 13-12 previously, and oh my god, it was just going for aggressive builds all over the place. Early gases, early spawning pools here from both sides. Is a slightly earlier spawning pool here from Tatagiba. I did mention, of course, that MTT did go for a 14-13. So Tatagiba is a little bit more crisp, is a little bit more on point, a little bit faster. And we're about to clash here. Both players are going to be rushing into link speed, into banelings as well. I'm curious how this compares to each other. I don't think I've seen 13-12 or like gas first builds against each other before. So we'll see. Essentially like 13-12s against each other. Baneliness is prioritized here for Tatagiba. Baneliness on the way first. Meanwhile, MTT has the resources for it, but ooh, link speed first instead. Okay, I think I like this more for the blue Zerg, but we'll see. Basically, we're working in the same direction, but blue Zerg goes for Baneling Nest, red Zerg goes for link speed first. Into a delayed Baneling Nest. And we'll see what becomes more impactful. As Lings move out, Tatagiba getting in position, falling back. He does spot the Lings with the Overlord. MTT confirms as well. As they do threaten each other. Both armies trying to outposition the other. Lings being active. Banelings on the way. And again, the Baneliness here for MTT is quite delayed in comparison. Does have a queen to help support. But I'm concerned because we'll see if we can avoid that Baneling. See if we can avoid it. The Baneling, it has arrived. Baneling is here. Diving for the queen. There's that Baneling to support the Lings. They cannot save it. The queen goes down. Massive pickoff. MTT trying to expand. It should not finish. Oh my god. Baneling zoning away those Lings. Ling speed does kick in. Baneling goes down. Oh, no, god, no. Massive connection. We force a cancel on the natural. Massive connection on the Lings. There's nothing left. Only drones. Boys are being pulled. Lings are wreaking havoc. Spine crawlers on the way. But alas, MTT should be overwhelmed here. Ay, ay, ay. That was brutal. Banelings are waddling into the mineral line. And again, there's nothing to defend. There's a handful of Lings, but the Banelings, they're going for the Lings. What do they go for? Lings or drones? They don't know. They're going for the workers. Big connections, and there's only 2 drones left. Only 2 workers left. GG gets called, and Tatagiba will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. That the he will take the series 2-0, will advance on to the semifinals. My condolences to MTT. Again, that he's known for being hyper aggressive and very cheesy player. And again, MTT did do his best here to try to keep up with him. Unfortunately, was overwhelmed. Unfortunately, his build was also lackluster as well. I will say I will criticize a little bit there. It was like a 13-12 aggressive start, but he was still expanding and getting a queen, and it was a little bit messy there from the side of MTT. And with that, GG, well played. That the Giba does take it, and it does advance on to the next round. Congratulations, and we have that next series ready for us. It is going to be That Giba versus AlisoN. Oh boy. AlisoN versus That Giba is about to begin in a Protoss versus Zerg. But I'm tempted because Erik versus Claw is still ongoing, and it might be worth just waiting to be able to catch Erik versus KamiKaze. So, the play might just be to wait for Erik versus Claw to finish, and then we can just jump into Erik versus KamiKaze. At the same time, like the upper semis, like AlisoN versus That Giba is probably going to be a short series. Like I can see it being a very short series. So I could still cast both. It is possible. But I do want to wait for my boy. Do you want to wait for my boy? But yeah, with that, GG, well played. I believe AlisoN and That Giba, they are currently conducting their vetoes. So, I mean, I have to make a choice. Do we commit to the upper semis? Do we wait for Erik? I mean, I can't imagine Erik's game is going to take too much longer, right? Right? It'll be fine. Copium. We'll go on a break. We're gonna be going on a short break. When we come back, I think I'll wait. I think I'll wait for Erik. I'll wait for Erik. We can wait for him. It's all good. So yeah, take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, and we will be having a bit of downtime here, waiting for Erik versus Claw to finish, and then we can follow into KamiKaze. I am making the assumption that Erik is gonna win that series. True. I'm making that assumption, but he's a kangaroo. I have to. He just finished his game. Let's go. We'll see you guys in a couple minutes. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semi-finals of Code for Giants Cup number 15. Oh boy, it has been a pretty fast and also very chaotic tournament so far, but we have reached the top 4 and we can finally embrace one of our own. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the blue Terran representing Eximius Gaming. It is KamiKaze. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player representing the CranKy Ducklings. What does he stand for? He stands for Endurance, Righteousness, Intellect, and Kangaroo. The F in Erik stands for Fear. It is Erik. Let's go. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck in the chat. On the one hand, of course, we're a little bit biased here in favor of Erik. He is favored to win the entire thing, of course, but KamiKaze can threaten him, has taken maps before, and KamiKaze definitely has it within him here to pose a threat to Erik. As much as I want to be confident in Erik, I was also confident in Master. I was very confident in Master as well, and Master went down to AlisoN in the upper quarterfinals, so anything is possible. Upsets can and have occurred. Here we go. So for the time being, do you see Erik going for a 15-15? He goes for a a hatchery into a spawning pool into a delayed gas. So delayed gas is here from Erik. This usually leads into roach play. Erik, he is a bit of a roach boy, does enjoy roach production or roach based play here in TVZ, but we'll see if that's what he goes for this time. It's hard to kind of read Erik just because he does his own thing. He's a very creative player, comes up with his own builds, and does at times, many times actually, does dictate the pace and the meta of the Zerg race in StarCraft. Oh boy. Here we go. As the gas is now being taken, do you have KamiKaze opening up with a Rax into Factory? Okay, this is an oddity here. Usually a standard build would be Rax into Expand, but we have a very delayed expansion. Faster Factory. This can lead into a one-base Hellbat push. Basically, one-base Hellbat all in. That is what I'm leaning towards here, but it's going to be delayed CC on the high ground. Very late CC for KamiKaze, and he's going to try to be hyper-aggressive early on with Hellions. Okay, so it's not Hellbats. It is going to be a Hellion push early on, much earlier than can be usually anticipated. And because that, if Erik cuts if he cuts units, if he cuts queens, if he cuts lings, then he can be caught off guard. I assumed it was going to be Hellion. It's going to be Cyclone first, then I imagine into Hellion. Oh boy. So a very early Cyclone production. Erik does confirm he gets eyes on the factory, the fact that it's already producing units. Erik knows that he's going to be in danger. Ling speed is on the way. He does stay in gas. Important to take note here, he does stay in gas, is prioritizing gas income. This can lead into roaches or into banelings or into a fast lair. There's a lot of possibilities here for where this gas is going to be spent. I'm sure it's very intentional from Erik. Is very intentional. Meanwhile, across the map, getting to a 1-1-1. Cyclones moving out. Hellions to reinforce behind this. Again, a very aggressive build here by KamiKaze. Isn't worth it yet, but he's getting there. Meanwhile, we have the answer to the question that was, what are the gases going to be spent on? It's going to be spent on roaches. So it's going to be Ling Roach here by Erik. Army is spotted. Ling does confirm the Cyclones. And the Hellions and the lack of CC. Erik might just believe this is a one-base all-in. He did not see the command center floating over, so Erik is in the dark as to whether or not KamiKaze is even expanding. And back at home, he should be focusing and prioritizing roaches. Should be. Meanwhile, 1-1-1 into Banshee. Very interesting. So it's going to be Cloak Banshees. Erik, he does come in with the Overlord Scout. Does skirt around the edge. We'll get eyes on the add-on swap, and we'll get eyes on the Researching Tech Lab. Does confirm Banshee. He knows. He now knows the Banshees are on the way. Likewise, he sees the add-on swap, which should be into Bio. Stim is revealed to the Overlord. Stim is revealed. Interesting. Yep, second Rax. It's Bio play. It's going to be Bio. I'm a little bit shocked, though, that KamiKaze, he isn't moving. He isn't moving out. He's staying here back at home. Fortifying himself here at the natural. Or building up at the natural base, I should say. And KamiKaze, he does move out. But only with harassing units. So it looks like, I assumed that the build of choice for KamiKaze was really aggressive, but it looks like he's actually using this to defend. This does, to me, look like KamiKaze was blindly trying to counter a roach rush, but there was none. It was just a standard build, which means Erik is getting far ahead. Erik, he is getting further and further ahead here because KamiKaze has put himself behind. At this point, I'm convinced that I think KamiKaze just assumed it was going to be an early pool and an early Roach Warren, and it wasn't. So KamiKaze gambled, does fall behind because of it. Banshee's get across the map, 2 drone kills so far. But he does get 2 workers. Does get 2 workers. Likewise, Banshee rotates around towards the 3rd, looking to pick off another drone. Going for the gas instead. A little nibble away. Rest of the Queens do respond. That's a kill, not a cancel on the gas, guys. Are not bad. And yeah, KamiKaze is now settling into bio play, but again, it's still just very delayed. It does cancel the 4th. I mean, this is still good damage. It's good. Behind this, Erik, he's building up more roaches, getting into Hydra production. Hydra Den's on the way, plus on range as well, so it's going to be Roach Hydra out of Erik. Very old school composition here from Erik. Okay. So now KamiKaze, he is getting ready for his eventual move out. There is a 3rd CC on the way, so this is not a 2-base all-in. No 2-base all-in here from KamiKaze. He is moving out with a double drop, keeping his Hellion Cyclone back at home. Erik is pushing in. Does spot the setup. I'm sure he's tempted to commit, but what does Erik have at home to defend? Uh-oh. Erik, he commits, he's going for the tanks. Bild's going to be connecting, he gets 1, he gets 2 tanks. But at the same time, the Bio Army hits the 4th base, and he's going to force a cancel. Yeah, Erik is not ready for this. Queens get picked up, Hatchery finishes. Can he save it? Can Erik save the base? Oh, it's I don't think he can. We'll get a medevac? Not even. Drops, they barely get away. Just barely they do escape. Erik loses his expansion. Taking a massive loss. Does catch one of the medevacs. Both even. Oh my god. Very nicely done here, Erik. He shuts down both of them. Oh my god. Two medevacs full. KamiKaze trying to stabilize here on 2 bases, but alas, KamiKaze plummets in supply, and Erik, he's going for the kill. There's only 1 tank. Only 1 tank. Show us the Biles. As the boys are being pulled in, Biles here on the Banshee. Ooh, they connect. Banshee falls. It looks like Erik doesn't quite have enough to break his opponent, but he still trades. He trades okay. Got 6 SCVs. I'm sure Erik was hoping for a little bit more of these reinforcements had arrived sooner than maybe. As this is getting a little bit messy. It's getting messy, Pat. Erik takes down the Cyclone. Getting on top of the Marauders. Does attempt to chase them down. Heavily overstimmed, by the way. Jesus. And as the dust settles, where exactly are we? So KamiKaze, he's almost at the 2-base saturation. Erik, he's just now rebuilding his 4th. It's just now getting back up and running. He's on 61 drones. Low drone count for Erik, but the tech is there. He's got a hive. He's got lurker upgrades already on the way. He's teching into Lunker already. And the Lings, they bypass the initial setup. They try to. Erik gets punished. Bleeds out a lot of units. KamiKaze, he's holding. Throwing down a wall of bunkers. He is holding on. Let's see if Erik can break through. I do feel like Erik just needs to calm down. Just needs to calm down and just make some units here. He does push up the ramp, but thankfully goes off. 1 lurker goes down. The lurker range is done. Oh my god, and they annihilate the Bio Army. Another lurker falls down to 3. 3 lurkers left. Pushing up the ramp. Tanks is trying to reposition. I mean, he's pushing into 4 tanks. And KamiKaze should hold. Yeah, he should hold on. Does get 2 more lurkers. 1 lurker remaining. Reinforcements, they have arrived. They get on top of the tank. Just barely. They get the tank. The army rotates. Gets on top of the 3rd base. Again, Erik just causing a little chaos with the bare minimum. He does get in. Denies mining at the 3rd. Kills the bunkers. 1 gets salvaged. Erik backs off. And again, Erik, we just need to calm down. He keeps trying to kill KamiKaze. It's like, mate, just take a breather. Erik, he joined up to 70. Honestly, at this point, he can join up to 80. He can join up to 80, make a handful of lurkers, and get into like Ling and a Hydra lurker, right? He'd be okay. But he is not joining. He's not joining. He is getting an expansion, but he's focusing on Ling, Roach, Hydra production. Still just trying to kill his opponent. There we go. Now makes a wave of drones. He's calming things down at least a little bit. Un poquito, papi, un poquito. He's calming things down. Vipers have arrived. Oh, that could be the nail in the coffin. There's no ghosts. There's no ghosts. There's no Vikings. There's no real solution here to the problem that is the Viper. Assuming that Erik doesn't run into these Marines. As that is a line of 5 tanks. Need those blinding clouds. Erik pushing forward. Tank volley's going up. And the blinding clouds actually going for yoinks instead. Ooh. Does get 3 tanks, but he loses almost every single roach. Oh my god, the lurkers, they hold their own. They annihilate that marine army. Yoinking another tank. He's got the yoinks. I mean, efficient pickoffs here, it did cost Erik a lot of roaches, but he's done with roaches. It should be Ling Hydra from here on forward. Should be Ling Hydra. Doesn't have Adrenal. He is lacking some melee, lacking any kind of melee upgrade, actually. no melee upgrades. 46 Lings on the, that's a lot of Lings, baby. 46 Lings. And with these Ling reinforcements, even without their melee upgrades, I do feel like Erik should have enough to break this. We'll see though. We shall see. As Erik, he's now to 80 workers, and he's now got an economy to work with. As you see Erik checking for a 4th, confirms that there is none. He's pushing in. Lurkers being left behind. Oh, pushing into a siege line like this, not ideal. That's where the Vipers are required. Erik pulls back. 8 more lunkers on the way. Where are the Vipers exactly? There's 2 Vipers. There we go. They're full energy. They're moving out across the map. They're coming. The Vipers are on the way. Massive spine shots going off. You get a yoink on one of the tanks, another yoink, getting 2 more tanks. Getting even 3 more. Jesus. 4 in total. 3 tanks left. Very nice pickoffs here from Erik. Bringing down 1 tank at a time. And now he has to commit. He does commit in. Lings, they get on top of the tanks as well. Forcing some friendly fire, but it looks like KamiKaze is going to have enough. Good fungal though. The chain fungals. But the bio army gets us the lurkers. A couple too many lurkers too far behind. KamiKaze, he's holding on, but GG gets called. Nidusworm just finished in the main. And Erik takes game number 1. GG. Erik does take a lead in the series. And that was a really odd game as well. Remember, KamiKaze started it off with a Rax into a factory into Cyclone Hellion, and he did not move out with it. He stayed at home. Again, it did feel like, I believe that KamiKaze, his opener in this game was to blind counter a Roach Rush, which Erik has done in the past, but didn't do this time. You know, Erik, he just went for a 15-15, went for something more standard, and because of that, KamiKaze fell behind early on, was playing overly safe, overly cautious. It does feel like Erik did win out in the mind games. did come out on top there in the mind games. And with that, Erik does take game 1. And now we're getting ready for game number 2. It's going to be on site Delta. Getting into site Delta here. So you can hear the beeps. We are going to be loading in. Oh boy. So I was just checking. For those that are curious, I'm a little bit on edge because I'm meant to get some PC parts today. They're meant to arrive. And I am just trying to make sure I spot them if at all possible. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of site Delta, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the blue Terran representing Zimi's Gaming down in the series. We'll see if we can bounce back, and we'll see if we can force the ace match. It is a KamiKaze. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player representing the CranKy Ducklings. Once again, going for a 15-15. Very safe opener. It is Erik. Here we go. Do have our initial opener here. 15 hatchery into a 15 spawning pool from the side of Erik. Meanwhile, KamiKaze across the map is going for what should be a Rax expand. Especially on side Delta, this should be an economic opener. We'll see if KamiKaze once again delays his expansion for a factory. I hope that is not the case. I do think that it is unnecessary, especially because we're loading into one of the larger maps in the map pool. Rush distance by ground is quite long, and you're also very defendable on 2 bases as well with the ramp coming into the natural. So I do think that we can just, you know, calm things down, get into our natural, get into our expansion, get into a longer macro game setup, more economic start. I would hope that's the case. There we go. As the SCV moves down to low ground, and KamiKaze should be expanding. Ooh, okay. So we can embrace this here. CC is on location. Erik back at home, now taking his gas, happily droning, getting into his queens. A couple of lings are on the way as well. We can settle in. And this time, KamiKaze won't start with a deficit. Remember, last game, I just thought he was going all in, but no, it wasn't even that. Just very defensive. Very defensive, very safe. Likewise, Erik does skirt around the right-hand side. His goal here is to try to get across the map and maybe pick off an SCV or 2. Likewise, Reaper has arrived. Oh, the surround! Oh my god! Insane. Erik with the surround! I don't like this! The smiley face! Ah! Oh no. Not like this. Oh no. As things get cleaned up, I think KamiKaze he's saying, "Oh my god, the drones are so fat," where he couldn't get away from them. Gordo means like gluttonous, you know. So yeah, that is a rough start here for KamiKaze, as he is going for a 1-1-1 follow-up. Now, if this was a stand like any other game, I would say, okay, aggressive. This is a very aggressive start. 1-1-1, late third. Third base is late for KamiKaze. He's going into a faster starport. This could be BC. This looks like a BC-based opener because there is no add-on swap. There is no tech lab here on the racks. So my eyes are open for a fusion core. Viking first. There's the SCV. There's the fusion core. There we go. Hey, I can smell a fusion core build a mile away, okay? I can wait, the amount of times I've died to BC is crazy. So this build screams fusion core, screams BC. Overlord comes in for a scout, and Erik will confirm. He will get eyes on the 1-1-1, seeing the starport further back without an add-on with a Viking first. Even if he doesn't see the fusion core, it does scream battlecruiser, and he confirms. Yeah, the Overlord does confirm. Erik, he does get eyes on the fusion core. He is fully aware of what's going on, and he should be getting ready with queens. Now, before queen production, Lair is on the way, and Erik did throw down a much more earlier Roach Warren. Roaches have amassed. Erik can try to go for an earlier move out before the BC comes into play. The downside of BC production and the BC opener is that BCs take longer to produce than Banshees, so if Erik goes for a Roach all-in, or if he goes for a Roach push, then the BC is not going to be ready for it. As we can see though, Erik is droning. Erik is droning, he's making a handful of Roaches to defend, but he's not committing into Roach production. Hellions Age try to get into the mineral line, but good defense here by Erik. Good defense so far. Viking further back into the main, looking for an Overlord, but there is a Queen to defend. The Overlord may still go down. Oh, yeah, the Overlord will fall. Now, with this fast lair, this should be for one of two things. Either a Hydroden or a Spire. They both have their place. Hydroden does finish faster, so you can actually make Hydras faster than Corruptors if you need, you know, if like urgency is kind of a factor. Otherwise, should just be Spire into Corruptor. Meanwhile, Erik investing in some Lings, still droning up. Should be working on Spores. There we go. Spire is on the way to the natural. We have one Spore in each mineral line. Queens are amassing as well. How many Queens? So far, 5. Oh, the Queen count is low. It's a low Queen count for Erik. He does need more. Likewise, he has no creep connecting the bases, so rotating between the bases can be a little bit more awkward just because of this patch of land. And do you see what I see? Second starport. 2-port BC. 2-port BC into what should be mech. Yeah, there's the add-on swap. So 2-port BC into mech, very, very committed, very aggressive here. And if Erik does undercommit to Queen production, he could just die. Like Erik, he could just topple over here, as he's still only on 5 Queens. He can morph in Ravagers. Ravagers can help support. They can be like a nice supportive unit against BCs. Spire is not yet done. First BC has arrived. And we'll see what KamiKaze can get done. Targeting the hatchery, taking some free damage. Queens are doing well here, getting a lot of hull damage here on the BC. Does get 3 drones, 4 drones here. Not bad. 5 workers do go down. Good damage. There should be a transfuse. Oh my god, the Queen does barely get away. No transfuse spent yet. The BC has taken a lot of hits. Corruptor production has begun. Muted production. Oh, that's concerning. Mutas can do well against a singular BC, but against mass BC, now I'm concerned for the Mutas. Now I'm concerned for Erik. I mean, he's going for both. He's going for Corruptor and Muta. Bold move. Very bold move for Erik. Behind this, there's a Viking. There's a couple of Cyclones on the ground. BC did survive. Another BC's on the way. 2 additional battle cruisers. And Erik has yet to confirm. He soon will, though. Soon will. So Erik, he does catch the Viking. Yamato's going to be going up. Ooh, gets a Corruptor. Hellions here towards the third base. The Roach Ravager's in position. And Erik does catch him. Does shut down the Hellions. Oh, the Hellions were left idle. A bit of miscontrol there by KamiKaze. The Hellions, they get thrown away. Hellions are cleaned up. Additional BCs. We do see that now that Erik has seen additional battle cruisers, he's making more Corruptors, which is a good call. Again, the Mutas are not ideal here. It was a bit of a misstep to invest so heavily, but he can still make them pay for themselves. Roach Ravager towards the third. The tank is on siege. And massive pig off here. The tank is going to go down. The tank, the Widow Mines, BC's at position. The Mutas ahead for the natural. They don't find much damage, but they do rotate around. As Roach Ravager denies the third. Vials, they connect with the battle cruisers. Erik gets the hell out of there. SCVs get saved. That was still good damage for the Zerg. He forces back the BCs as he's building up more Corruptor. There's 5 Mutas left. I think 2 of them went down, and 2 of them did fall. And the KamiKaze has yet to actually properly saturate his third base. It's still not quite up and running. Erik coming in from behind, gets an SCV. Oh. Gets an SCV, distracts the army, gets another SCV in the main. Should be building up more, not just Corruptor, but Roach Ravager as well. As there is a ground army. Here we go. Erik, he's pushing, he's knocking down those rocks. His goal here is to just go straight for the kill, straight for the third. Jesus, that's 5 BCs. How many corruptors? 16. That's a good amount of corruptor. BCs, do they waste the Yamato here on the Roach Ravager? Nah, not quite. Corruptors, they go for the dive. They get 1 BC. They get 1, they force out teleports. Mutants hit the main. And the Roach Ravager army does push forward. Gets 1 tank. Oh, gets 2 tanks. And no more tanks left. The boys are being pulled into Roach Ravager, and Erik, he will overwhelm. He will overwhelm this. Corruptors are looking to chase down those BCs as well. They teleported away. But the Corruptors, they find them. They find the BCs. They get 1. They get 2. Oh, the repairs are keeping them alive a little bit longer, but alas, the BCs will be overwhelmed. GG gets called as everything's flashing red, and Erik will take the series at 2-0. GG. GG, well played, Erik. He will take the series, will advance on into the grand finals. My condolences to KamiKaze. I appreciate the build of choice here in game 2. You don't often see 2-port BC anymore. It had its time, it had its era in the meta at the pro level, of course, and it kind of fell out of fashion quite quickly. But regardless, GG, well played. KamiKaze did definitely pose a threat to Erik in game 2. Game 1 was just a really rough game. As I mentioned, it did feel like game 1, KamiKaze was like blindly countering aggression that wasn't really coming, so it was just a really awkward game for KamiKaze in game 1. But game 2, he was able to hold his own and get into his build of choice. And now we're getting ready for the grand finals as we switch things over and catch up on the bracket. What has been going on? Who is waiting for us? Is it going to be a ZVZ or a ZVP? We have the answer. Oh, it went to the ace match. Went all the way to the ace match, but we have confirmation. It is going to be AlisoN versus Erik. AlisoN did drop a map to Tatagiba, so shout out to Tatagiba, of course, for taking a map. Went all the way to the ace match. I'm sure that was a short series, and I'm sure that was a short game as well. But we have that final match ready. Oh boy. Here we go. It is going to be that best of 5. Let's quickly just make sure we don't get left behind and set things up. Likewise, our players do need a moment, so we're going to be going on a short break. And when we return, we'll have the final series of the night. It's going to be that best of 5 between AlisoN and Erik. We might do some viewer replays after this as well. Might just dive into a viewer replay just to keep things going a little bit longer, just because it does feel like a bit of a shorter broadcast today, so we have time. We have time to embrace some replays as well. For now, though, we'll be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll have the grand finals. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the grand finals of Code for Giants Cup. Code for Giants Cup number 15. We have our grand finals. We have our grand finals ahead of us. We have had a very fast, very intense tournament so far. We've made it all the way to the top 2, and we have a Zerg and a Protoss waiting for him, which is what we expected, but we didn't quite expect this specific Protoss player. We had a crazy upset earlier. Master has fallen, and another Protoss has risen in his place. Let's jump in. As sporting in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the red Zerg player representing the CranKy Ducklings, as he's one of our own. He's going for a 13-12. Oh my god! Hyper aggressive here. It is Erik. What does he stand for? He stands for endurance, righteousness, intellect, and kangaroo. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss from the land of Brazil, representing Team Hellfire. It is the underdog himself. He's the master slayer. It is AlisoN, aka AlisoN. Here we go. As we are going to be settling in, and we do have a cannon. Wait, okay, there's a lot going on. So AlisoN confirms. Okay, 13-12. 13-12 opener here out of Erik. Fast gas geyser into fast spawning pool. Very aggressive build here by the Zerg player. AlisoN did scout, did confirm. He responds with a forge, with a cannon rush defense. So with this forge, we should be seeing cannons here to wall up, to wall off, and AlisoN should be able to hold on here as we do see the first cannon thrown down. So AlisoN taking this very, very seriously. Also, before I forget, predictions open. Place your bets while you can, as predictions will be open in the chat. Place your bets on who you think will win this series and will be our champion this week. Best of luck in the chat. As Erik is expanding, he is moving out. Link speed is on the way, and Erik pulls out of gas. Interesting. He does pull out of gas. So Erik, he's actually not moving out. He does make some lings, that is true. He does make a queen, but he doesn't commit to an all-in. He doesn't go for a Bane bust. He doesn't go for a Roach Rush. He just makes lings, and he forces this reaction. And you could argue this is an overreaction, as AlisoN does delay his expansion in favor of a Forge and in favor of a cannon, a Cybercore, delayed everything else. Everything is delayed. From here, Erik can drone. Erik can freely drone up, can freely saturate his bases, can calm things down. Here we go. And we'll see where this leads. More importantly, we'll see where AlisoN goes from here. It should be Stargate into, I would imagine, Void Ray. But Stargate should be, there we go. Stargate has been thrown down for AlisoN. It is a very awkward start for the Protoss player. It is quite awkward, but again, he can still work with this. Meanwhile, Erik back at home also did have a delayed expansion, right? Because the early gas, because the early pool is going to be delayed base, so you can now drone up, can now saturate, and we'll transfer from here. Go. Ooh, fast +1. I mean, it's a good way to make use of the forge, so +1 attack is on the way. This feels like it's going to lead into Void Ray charge lots. That would make sense in my mind, but we'll see if AlisoN does commit into something like charge lot production into a Twilight Council. But now there's the first Void Ray. Makes sense. Void Ray is on the way. That is to shut down the Overlords. That is to deny vision, deny scouting, and to maintain ourselves on 2 bases. It'll also keep AlisoN safe against a Roach all-in. Meanwhile, there's the Twilight Council. Should not be a surprise. As we mentioned, with +1 attack on the way, I'm leaning towards charge. I'm leaning towards a charge-based all-in here from AlisoN. We'll see. We'll see if it's charge or if it's something else. I mean, it could still be Blink. Blink is on the table. True. Is a viable option here for AlisoN. As the Void Ray does move out, hunting down Overlords. AlisoN trying to break out to eventually expand, I would imagine. To try to take a third. There we go, there's that charge, as it had mentioned. So +1 charge with Void Rays. I mean, this is a build. This is an all-in that we have seen from time to... I say from time. It's a rare build, I should emphasize. It is a rare build, but a build nonetheless. That AlisoN is working towards. Back at home, Erik droning up, getting towards his own safety Roach Warren. His queen count is still quite low. He's getting up to 6 queens, though. 6 queens, they can hold their own. No spores have been thrown down yet. First Void Ray moving out across the map. Does move out. And Erik is amassing roaches. He has not droned up his third. He's cutting workers here at 46, making a massive amount of roach, which honestly will keep him safe against this army. Erik, I believe he did see plus on researching earlier, so, I mean, if we can read that it's going to be charged, then Erik can as well. So most likely he's getting ready for the would-be charge lots. But is it going to be enough? Is it going to be enough? Is it going to be in time? So the army is building up. Do have the overload speed on the way. AlisoN getting ready for a proxy gateway to reinforce. And AlisoN is working on those zealot warbins. He's building up those chargelots. Likewise, Erik, it looks like he's going for a German taxi. Okay, so we have an all-in versus an all-in. It's going to be Chargelot Void Ray with +1 for AlisoN. It's going to be Ling Roach Queen with Job Lords from Erik. Oh boy. AlisoN is the first to pull the trigger, does move out, does have the pylon to reinforce, no proxy gateway, so delayed warp-ins. There's not enough here though. AlisoN is missing a warp-in. There's just so many roaches. There's too many roaches. This army's going to be shut down. Clutch transfused, but one queen does fall. The Void Rays are going to be able to overwhelm the queens. But Erik, he can keep pushing. As the queens, they target down the Void Rays they can. There's 2 Void Rays left. With the reinforcing queens, Erik, he will clean this up, actually. And yeah, GG gets called. There's nothing left for AlisoN. And Erik takes game number 1. GG. AlisoN, oh sorry, Erik. I think I said AlisoN takes game 1. Erik takes game number 1. As Erik, he shuts down the ground army, he's able to overwhelm the Void Rays, and GG, well played. AlisoN just did not have enough to really compare to the army that Erik was building up. Again, Erik did cut workers at 46. He cut workers really early on, built up a massive amount of roach, and again, he was getting ready for his own all-in. So GG, well played. Erik does take a lead in the series, but now we're getting into game 2. Again, as a reminder, this is a best of 5. Plenty more games ahead of us. Plenty more games to come. Let's go. Oh. Here we go. So we are jumping into game 2. It's going to be on Golden Aura. Also, if I look brighter than normal, by the way, this is natural light. I have a open up the window, the sun is shining through, and while I'm casting, I'm also trying to keep an eye outside to see if see if the delivery man arrives. Let's go. Here we go. Getting into game 2. Also, Erik, he was letting us know in the lobby chat. He was like, yo, that was the most telegraphed Void Ray charge all-in I've ever seen. Oh, no. True. But here we go. We're getting into game 2 and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Aura. We have the Brazilian Protoss player, the Blue Protoss representing Team Hellfire. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back, and we'll see if he can force a series out of this and make a back and forth happen. It is AlisoN. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player, the Brazilian Zerg. He's one of our own. He's one of the CranKy Ducklings, and once again, going for a early gas into pool here. Once again, an aggressive start. It is Erik. Now, clearly, this can turn into a Bane Bust. This can turn into a Bane Bust, this can turn into a Roach Rush as well, or this could also force a reaction out of AlisoN, force a Forge and a Cannon, and force a defensive start, and then Erik just drones, as we saw from the last game. So this is the same opener so far, I believe 13-12, but is droning up behind this. And we'll see if Erik commits into something more aggressive or not. He's mining gas as we speak to rush into link speed, of course. Meanwhile, back at home, AlisoN does go for a 2-gate opener. This is not normal. Very unorthodox here. 2-gate opener out of AlisoN. This can lead into a 1-base all-in. The probe does move out. I'm looking for a proxy. I'm waiting for the setup. There's a Cybercore from AlisoN. Probe is being active. Do we go for the proxy Stargate or proxy Robo, or what do we go for? What's the plan? Pylon is placed. Erik moves out. Link speed is on the way. Erik pulls out. He pulls out of gas, so he's not Bane busting, he's not roach rushing, he's just going for fast link speed into an expand. This feels like a very safe way to play. Very safe way to play. And I wonder if it's because of AlisoN's reputation. I mentioned before when we were talking about Ducklings versus AlisoN I was talking about how fast a series that was going to be. Because AlisoN and Ducklings, they're known for cheesing and they're known for all-ins. And I feel like Erik is aware of that here as well. It's going to be Chrono to Depths. Twilight Council on the way on one base. Dark Shrine? Are we going proxy DT? Like, Gateway into Dark Shrine would make sense here. Otherwise, it could just be Gateway with a third Gateway back at home into a 4-gate Glaive Adept build. But no, this has to be Dark Templar, right? It's gotta be DTs, I would imagine. Would imagine here. Show us that build. Oh, no, Glaives. Okay, never mind. It's going to be Glaives. Going to be Glaive Adepts here from AlisoN. He's got 2 gates back at home. He's got 1 proxied across the map, so 3-gate Glaives. Adepts, they do get into the main. So far, so good. They do deny mining here. They get 3 drone kills already. Getting 4. Getting 5. Ooh, that is stacking up. 5 kills here for 2 Adepts. A worthwhile trade. Very worthwhile for AlisoN. Trades very well. Oh my god, I was just dying for a moment. Okay, we good. Just coughing my lungs out. So it's going to be 2 gates at home and 2 gates across the map, so it's 4-gate. It's 4-gate Glaive Adepts here from AlisoN. And we'll see if Erik can keep up. Erik is going for his own Roach one. Erik, he did lose a lot of drones in the other game. 5 drone kills is not insignificant. So very nice economic damage dealt here by AlisoN. Overlord does confirm the 1 base play. And Erik should know that there's a proxy somewhere. He should know that there is a proxy. Is looking for another kind of setup, maybe a stray expansion, a hidden third. Does poke in, and that means that there's that much less at home to defend. Erik's in trouble. Erik is in trouble. He does go for the full wall. Roaches are amassing. Adepts are revealed. Erik, he now knows the direction that the Adepts are coming in. They're coming from. And he can go for the proxy. It collapses here on the pylon. Adepts have arrived. They're knocking down the Evo chamber. They will. Roaches are here, but Adepts, they break through. They do break through. They're getting some of the Roaches. Roaches, they need a little bit more time, and this may just be too much. It may be too much here as he shades into the main. Ling Roach trying to keep up. The gateways have been depowered, but we need the Lings at home. There we go. They do actually respond. Drones up all the way. Erik is trying to keep up. He's bleeding out a lot of Roaches, but he hasn't lost many workers yet. Adepts, they do shade out. Shade out of the natural. Roaches are keeping up. Yeah, and Erik, he is cleaning this up here. He's finally taking some losses. Finally, some drones are going down. That's going to be 4 or 5 drone kills. And AlisoN takes a worker lead. But he's stuck on 1 base. Remember that. He's stuck on 1 base. The gateways are depowered. He cannot repower them because he's walled in. AlisoN, he's walled in. And Erik holds. From here, Erik can drone. Erik can safely drone up. He can clean up these gateways. And AlisoN is stuck on 1 base. Now, we do see that he's rebuilding that production building. Going for a gateway. Robo, that should be for a Warp Prism. Blink is on the way as well. But now Erik has a lot of time to recover and to recoup those losses. He may have lost a lot of drones, and he did. Looking at the Unisol Slab, 12 drone kills. 12, that's a lot of drones. 12 drones that go down, but Erik can now rebuild all of that. Spores on the way. Erik, he's scared of DTs. Don't blame him. Lings, they poke in. They get eyes on the Stalker production. Interesting. That is a bit of a tell. Is a bit of a tell that AlisoN is not making non-stop Adepts. And here comes the Prism. To the eventual all-in. Back at home, Erik, he's still somewhat droning. He's on 2 gases. From here, I think he can go up to maybe 3 gases. Oh, he could be too greedy, though. He can get away with some droning, but just not too much. As he's scouting, looking for another proxy. You can see here the Lings, they fan out. They're checking everywhere. Also, I think I know why I'm dying. I opened the curtains for the first time in like 20 years, and now I have been attacked by dust. As AlisoN, he does move out. Again, completely all in. How many stalkers? 14. 14 stalkers on one base. That's a lot of stalkers. Erik did join up to 29, did cut workers. He's massing up Ling Ravager. But does he have the production here to keep up with this kind of army? Can he keep up? Gamer seeing sunlight. True, it burns, man. It's killing me. So far, getting an Evo Chamber. One Evo Chamber goes down, going for the other. Trading with the Lings. These are losses that Erik can afford. Evo Chambers go down. Erik just trying to buy time for more Lings and Roaches. Building up an army. Meanwhile, AlisoN pushing in with Blink. He can avoid these wiles. Oh my god. Does take him out to the face. Does take him to the face. Trading with the Roaches. Lings are going down. So far, efficient pickoffs here by AlisoN. And that stalker count is just getting higher and higher over time. Oh. Wow, they do graze the army though. Wiles do connect. Stalkers pushing in. They get an Overlord. And we do see the surrounding with the Lings. Not bad. Lings are coming from behind. Stalkers are falling. Very nice engage here from Erik. Even I myself, I wasn't quite noticing the Lings there. Very nicely done. And with that, Erik, he gains ground. He gains breathing room. He forces back the army. Picked off so many Stalkers. Observer takes a hit. Falls as well. And Erik, he should be comfortable from here. Did lose some Ravagers in the process. He's down to 1. But outside of that, he should be okay. Lings, they're still out on the map, still getting ready for another surround. Just waiting for the moment. There's the blink. Lings, they think about it. They don't quite commit yet. Erik, he's setting up. Oh, but there's a blink available. Yeah, he does blink away. Erik doesn't quite get the round he was hoping for, but regardless, GG does trade well enough. Too much, it has taken too long, and Erik will take game number 1. Oh, sorry, number 2. He'll take a 2-0 lead in the series. Whew. GG. Solid 2-0 lead here. Again, a very chaotic build here from AlisoN. Initially, Adepts into a follow-up, a blink all in. The Adepts, they did well. Remember, 12 drone kills. 12 workers went down. It was not bad. It was not a bad start for AlisoN, but unfortunately, the follow-up all in took a little bit too long. Took a little bit too long to break into the natural base. We saw that over time, Erik was able to build up a large enough Roach Ravager army, was able to get ready for that surround as well, eventually for that breakout, and yeah, did snowball out of control from there. GG, well played. 20 years. Oh, no. That's all good. Just keeping my head over the monitor. I'm like, trying to keep an eye on things. Doesn't help that the tracking is vague as hell. Like, there's no, like, individual tracking. It's like, oh, it's coming today. It's like, oh, cool. When? Is that today? Thanks for that. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the information. Yeah. As spawning in the top left-hand corner, of Side Delta, we have our Red Zerg player leading the series 2-0. Uno mas. One more game is all he needs to claim the series and to become this week's Code for Giants Cup champion. Representing the CranKy Ducklings, he's one of our own. What does he stand for? He stands for endurance, righteousness, intellect, and kangaroo. It is Erik. 14-14. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player, the Brazilian Protoss, representing Team Hellfire, down in this series, has been very aggressive this series so far, going for a charge Void Ray all-in in Game 1, going for a 1-base Blink all-in in Game 2. Now, it's a Cannon Rush. And it is also AlisoN. Will it work? Can he pop off? Can he make a series out of this? The Forge has been placed, and the probe is on the way. The Cannon Rush is upon us. Can AlisoN set up? Let's go. This probe moves out across the map. It's not just one. There should be a second probe soon thereafter as well, to throw down those pylons and to get those cannons going. Now, unfortunately for this Cannon Rush, as we mentioned, 14-14. It's been a 14-14 every game so far of this series. Fast link speed into fast links, into map control, into a delayed expansion, time and time again. So it's going to be a Forge fast expand. Oof, no Cannon Rush as there was no natural base. Links are already in production, so the Cannon Rush would have failed. And AlisoN has to try to pivot away and get into something different. Oh boy. Lings are moving out. Erik can now expand. And we saw the last time we had this kind of setup here, we saw this lead into Void Ray charge lots with +1 attack into a Void Ray charge lot all in. And we'll see if AlisoN does embrace that again or if he goes for something different. We could see Skytoss instead, you know, like Stargate into Fleet Beacon into Carrier or into Tempest. So it could be a Carrier Rush, could be a Tempest Rush. The other thing it could be, I mean, it could be another charge +1 Void Ray all-in again, true. It could be Mass Oracle, that's another, like, viable option. But it should be something clearly on 2 bases. And usually very tech-heavy as well. But we'll see. We shall see. As the Cybercore is on the way, Cannon does complete. Erik does confirm the wall. He's aware at least. But where does Erik go from here? Where does he go from here? Likewise, where does AlisoN go from here? Just waiting for the Cybercore. Waiting on that Cybercore. Does complete and show us the tech of choice. Pylon has been placed. It's going to be the Rover, the Twilight Council, the Stargate. We have confirmation. Twilight Council opener. Now, this can lead into Glaive Adepts again. This can lead into a Dark Shrine, into DTs. Those are the 2 more common and more popular options. That's what we should be seeing, but our eyes are going to be here on AlisoN. Overlord Scout does get eyes on the setup. Does confirm. Lings, they do slip into the natural. Up. Going for the mineral line. And they do manage to catch 1 probe. Not bad. 1 probe goes down. We get a full scout of the main as well. Oh, we at least attempt to. We did, yeah. It's going to be charge. I assumed it was going to be glaives or DTs, but no, it's going to be charge instead. The Ling does confirm there are 2 gases in the main, no gases at the natural. Extra gateways being thrown down. The lack of extra gases, I mean, this could still be Glaive Adepts in the eyes of Erik. Regardless, Roaches are on the way. He throws down the Roach War, and he knows it's going to be a ground-based aggression, a ground-based push. So Erik is getting ready, gets his 3rd just for Larva. Saturating his bases, he's on 3 gases. Solid saturation here. And it is a 2-base all-in. That's a massive gateway explosion. That's going to be a 6-gate 2-base all-in out of AlisoN with Immortals and charge lots. One way or another, the game is going to end. Either AlisoN kills Erik or he dies trying. Now, so far, Erik is respecting this. He's not droning too much. He is not making any workers here at the 3rd. He's staying on even under 2-base saturation. His natural is saturated, but the main base, he's lacking a gas. He's staying on 3 to afford more links. When he finds the proxy pylon, pylon goes down. Reinforcements are going to be delayed. Has to wait for the Warp Prism. As AlisoN is building up. The natural's looking a little bit messy, but it's fine. It's fine. And Erik, he does want to move out. The charge lots are revealed. Charge lots, they are going to be revealed here. AlisoN does commit, does move out. Going for a massive warp in. Erik behind this has been getting ready the entire time. Building up more roaches. Things a threat in the army. They will delay at least, but the Lings do go down. Good pickups from AlisoN. More reinforcements on the way. Just the one immortal for the time being. And just one. Mass charge up behind it. No +1 this time. As force fields, they can be plowed down. AlisoN going for the third. Erik gonna try and chase this. There are those force fields though. Only 3 Ravagers, bear that in mind. They're the first force fields. Biles, they should shut them down. Force fields are broken. Roach Ravager pushes in. Oh, and we're running out of Zealots. AlisoN, he's running out of Zealots here. They try to commit. But Erik, he will completely shut this down. The Biles, they go for the Prism. Up. Prism does take a lot of hits and does go down. Warpin did complete though. Despite that, it looks like it's going to be too much. Erik, he cleans up the army, shuts down the all-in, and Erik, he will take the series 3-0. GG. GG, well played. Erik having to react to his opponent every game, something you don't see it too often, but AlisoN was hyper aggressive, was all in every single game, whether it was 1 base, whether it was 2 base. Regardless, AlisoN was not looking to expand or not looking to macro, and Erik was fully aware of that, was prepared for that as well. Every game Erik played safely. He went 14-14 into faster link speed, into a later expansion but earlier links just to be secure. And Erik, he was able to make full use of that, was able to survive, able to scout, confirm, and respect the all-ins time and time again. Made sure he never over-droned, he never made too many workers. I will say that the best showing I do think of AlisoN was Game 2. We saw in Game 2, AlisoN with Glaive Adepts was able to harass, was able to kill 12 drones. It was a lot of economic damage, and he did follow up with a 2-base all-in, sorry, with a 1-base all-in. But, you know, it's on 1 base. Like, it was so committed, mate. It was so committed, and the longer it went on, the worse it became for AlisoN, so he barely did not have enough. Regardless, GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Erik, as he is going to be our Code for Giants Cup champion this week. My condolences to AlisoN, but also a shout out as well, because I mentioned before, AlisoN was not favored to make it to the finals. Master was. Master was favored instead, and AlisoN did cause a massive upset. A massive upset did occur, where AlisoN was able to bring Master down in the quarterfinals and make it to the finals instead. So congratulations here to AlisoN for causing that upset. Does walk away with some extra prize money as well as a result. And with that, GG. GG, well played. Good. Still dying. But GG, well played. Erik does take it in the end, and congratulations. With that, we are going to be wrapping up for the time being. We are going to have another cast later on tonight. We're going to be covering StarCraft Evolution League, the Fall Championship Group B. Group B is going to be later tonight. I might solo cast it. I might cast it with Yaku. Yaku has told me that he is uncertain if he will be available or not. It does depend on what occurs here today, as he does have some other IRL commitments to address. So there's some other things that he has to do first, and if he is available, he will jump on and cast as well. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun casting StarCraft Evolution with Yaku last night, so hopefully we can do it again today. If not, he'll be joining us tomorrow. He'll be joining us tomorrow instead, as there's, again, plenty of StarCraft Evolution to come. There's 4 groups, and we've only covered 1 so far. So I do recommend it. Also, a shout out to Cosmos. Cosmos, of course, he is the Brazilian caster. He is the organizer and also helps fund the event as well. Without Cosmos, this tournament would not be possible. So big shout out to Cosmos for all that he does for the scene, for the community, for StarCraft. Much love to Cosmos. And yeah, with that, we are going to be wrapping up. Now, there was a replay redeemed earlier, and this cast has only gone on for 3 hours. So you know what? We have time. We have time. May as well jump into a cheeky replay cast. for those that don't know, we do have a point redemption in the chat. You can, with I think it's like 10,000 grapes, you can redeem a replay cast where we will be going over one of your very own replays. So more than happy to. This was redeemed earlier this broadcast, so I'm more than happy to quickly jump into this and go over the replays. I do actually have a couple of replays available, but I'm not too confident going through every single one right now. So I'll just go through the one that was redeemed today, and I'll go through the others at a later date instead. I mentioned before the reason why I'm a little bit distracted and my mind is a little bit elsewhere, is because, for those who don't know, I did, because it's Black Friday, you know, the sales are upon us, and I have finally, after many years, I finally decided to upgrade my PC, and I have ordered some parts, and they are coming soon, TM. I was notified that they're coming today, I just don't know when, and especially because I'm usually, like, engrossed in casting, and, you know, I'm you know, in it. If I didn't notice, you know, the package arriving, then most likely it'd be sent back to the post office, and then it wouldn't be available for like another couple of days, and it's the end of the week, so I'd probably have to get it next week. So if I do miss it, I probably wouldn't be able to get them until next week, most likely. So especially because we're so busy casting, like our casting schedule is quite busy, so I don't want that to happen. That's why I'm looking out the window right now to make sure I get eyes on that. Hopefully. So yeah, that exciting stuff here upon us. You know, potential new PC. I built my PC that I'm currently using back in 2016. It was brand new back then. It was quite expensive as well. Like, everything high end back in 2016. You know, with a 1080. But now, you know, many years later, it has aged quite a bit, and it was for my birthday. My birthday a couple of weeks ago, I actually got Final Fantasy 16 to play on stream, and my PC could not handle Final Fantasy 16. And that was the moment where I'm like, I guess I need a new setup, because if I like, that's never happened before, but I just could not run the game properly. It was just constantly crashing on me, constantly non-stop crashing, and the frames were dropping as well. It was awful. So yeah, that was rough. That was rough, and that was the sign. That was the sign of maybe it's time to upgrade. Especially because I'm like, what, like 3 generations behind when it comes to graphics cards with a 1080. For those that are curious, I'm getting a 4080. Is that what it is? RTX 4080. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. I'm not getting a 4090. 4090 is like double the cost, mate. It's so expensive. Like, no shot. I'm not getting a 4090, but I'm getting a 4080 and a bunch of other stuff as well. So exciting things to come. For now, though, we're going to be going on a short break. I'm going to be setting up some overlays, and then we'll be jumping into a viewer replay cast. That is the plan. That is the current plan here. So we'll see you guys shortly after the break. See you soon. Otherwise, if you don't want to tune into this, if you are otherwise preoccupied and going to be heading off, you can follow us on all the social medias: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord, all things CranKy Ducklings. You can follow us. We do post when we go live on all the social medias, and we also have VODs available on YouTube immediately as well. The VODs we're streaming on YouTube, and also VODs are there as soon as possible. So do check out those VODs if you're interested. If you can't watch live, we got you covered on YouTube. Otherwise, we'll see you guys after the break with a fun viewer replay cast. See you soon. welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to something a little bit different, something a little bit special here. Welcome to not the Code for Giants Cup, as we just wrapped up, but we have one viewer replay to go over. Actually, I may as well set this up. Viewer replay cast. You may as well set this up. But yes, we do have a viewer replay to go over here. It was redeemed earlier in the broadcast. We do have a TVP ready for us here. We have a matchup between Claire and Beyond. Oh boy, we also got a little bit spoiled as well. In the chat did mention like, oh, what do I do against Proxy 2-Rax? So I think we know what's gonna happen. Let's jump in. Let's go. Let us go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our pink Protoss player from the chat from the CranKy Ducklings. It is Claire. From the chat, and spawning in the top left hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the blue Terran player from Shopify Rebellion, the South Korean Terran. It is Byeon. I believe Claire has actually competed in some of our open cups over the past couple of weeks, whether it's Sparkling Tuna Cup, whether it's Tenacious Turtle Tussle. I believe has been an active competitor, and likewise, as if you do compete in those open cups, you can actually face off against players like this, players like Byeon, Clem, MaxPax, Dark, Hero. You can play against your favorite players if you do sign up for those open cups. So I do recommend it, do encourage it, and I have a lot of respect for those that do take part, even those that are maybe lower in skill, maybe Diamond, Platinum, Masters, what have you. Takes a lot of courage to go up against these big names in those open cups. Here we go. And as we can see, Byeon moves out with the 2-Rax Reaper. There's going to be 2-Rax Reaper here out of Byeon. Oh boy. And we'll see what response we do have for this once we figure out what's going on. For the time being, do see a scout here at the National to make sure that there is no eBay block. Not bad. Make sure that there is no denial of the expand. Behind this, going for a gate into Cybercore. Should be into a probe scout thereafter. If there is no probe scout, I mean, that will be something working against Claire in the defense, as will not realize that a Rax is missing and will not realize that there's potentially a proxy. As the first Rax is done, there's the expand here on the low ground. Reapers, Marines are upon us. I assumed it was just Proxy Reaper, but no, it's Proxy Marine. As Marines are on the way, SCVs have been revealed, and we should be seeing bunkers on the low ground. So very committed here by Byeon. Back in the main base, first Zealot has now begun. Cybercore still on the way, and Byeon has control of the low ground. And Pylon is going to fall. So this is a rough start here for Claire, as the Pylon is going to get picked up. At this point, I mean, the natural base is going to be forfeit here as well. It is very committed from Byeon. There is that to bear in mind. But we do need defenses back at home. Unfortunately, the Pylon just not finishing. We need shield batteries. We need shield batteries. We need another gateway as well to get some production going, to actually have something. If we cancel this expansion, we would have a refund, and we would have resources to actually invest into something like a gateway, something like a robo. There's the cancel. But alas, the follow-up here is delayed. Yeah, the production is later than it otherwise could have been if we had gone for that a little bit sooner. Meanwhile, Byeon back at home is transitioning. Is floating back home, is working on the next step. He's done enough damage. He's content with the damage he's dealt. And because this follow-up is delayed, because the gateways are late, that does mean that it takes that much longer to break out, and that means that Byeon is safe. Byeon is safe back at home. He knows that he's safe as well. Now, I could be mistaken. I'm not a Protoss player, but I could be. Oh god, we are reacting real hard to this. Jesus, that's a second shield battery that is a Pylon as well. I think something to bear in, that you can bear in mind if you're as a Protoss player and you're playing against this, is that if you do warp in a sentry after this, you can feel confident that you're in no danger, and you wouldn't need to react this hard, because this is turned into a one base all in basically from the side of Claire. But like once you get a sentry out, you know that if we ever see a dive from Byeon, you can just force field the ramp and cut the army in half and have your way with it. So you don't have to invest this heavily into what we're seeing here. Once we get enough Stalkers or an Immortal, we can break out. SCV goes down, which means now Claire can start to pick away at the bunker itself, can pull back once the shields get stripped away, can of course make use of the shield battery, and eventually deal with this. But it can also be difficult just because, especially if you don't face off against this sort of thing too often, then it can be hard to come over with a strategy immediately. Immortals on the way with the Robo. But what I was gonna say, specifically against Proxy 2 racks, I believe you can actually save the natural. I believe if you pull the boys, if you did scout it, if you did respond with an earlier Zealot, I think you can save the natural. But again, I'm not a Protoss player, so I'm not fully aware of that kind of situation, just because I'll be honest, I haven't seen this too often when it comes to casting. But against 2 racks, I think you can get away with it. Regardless, Claire does move out. And at this point, Claire is all in. At this point, it has to be an all-in. Prism's on the way. It's all or nothing. Beyond racing back home. Bunker is almost done. Oh boy. Now, with the help of the War Prism, you don't actually have to push into the natural. There is potential here to try to rotate and actually go into the main instead. But the longer this goes on, the worse it's going to be here as the War Prism has arrived. Back in the main base, you do see Byun looking quite well set up, has only the one tank here on the natural. Here does head for the main. Does head for the main. Oh, gets a Cyclone, but the tank has arrived just in time. Oh, and a little bit of mistargeting there. Massive tank shots going off. The Immortal goes down, and that's going to be the main bulk of the army falling. Yeah, there's not much else behind this. Bit of miscontrol. The Prism goes down. And Byun holds. Byun holds. GG gets called, and Byun does take the game. GG. Again, just a really rough start. I mean, in general, when it comes to defending against cheese, a lot of it, I think, does come down to experience. Just because if you face something for the first time, it can be really difficult to, as I mentioned before, to come up with a response immediately. At the end of the day, if we were going to be giving up our natural base, I do think that it had to be done sooner, just so you could afford the production faster and get into your Immortal production, get into the rest of your Gateway production as well. That all could have been much, much faster there if we had arrived to that decision sooner. On the flip side, if there was an earlier probe scout and if there was a realization that there was a proxy out on the map, we would have seen an earlier Zealot, right? There would have been a chrono on the first Zealot. The Zealot would have been a lot faster. With the help of the Zealot, I think you can pull the boys, and I think you can actually protect the low ground if your production is crisp behind it. I could be mistaken, but I think that's possible. That's where I would need like some like GM or Protoss players to like chime in. I don't think we have any in the chat currently, but like that's where I'd reach out to, like I'd reach out to Eva. It's the Eva. Yeah, but for that I'm less certain about. But if we are going for like a one base all in response, that's where we would need like some more decisive decisions made here. Like, because everything was so late. Referring to like the pylon, the shield battery, the robo, the gateway. Just because the refund from this Nexus would have been necessary for that sort of thing. And eventually it gets there, but it's quite late. That's like the surface level things that I can say, at least, looking at this game. Otherwise, GG. Otherwise, GG. I mentioned before that, again, shout out to Claire, or shout out to all players that do actually compete in these open cups and compete against these otherwise, I mean, best players in the world, literally. Literally best player one of the best players in the world. Not easy whatsoever, but it can also be a really good way to kind of compare yourself and see what you're lacking in and use that to improve and use that to learn and grow. Especially when it comes to mirror matchups, like if you end up facing up against someone like Trap or someone like Hero or another top Protoss player like MaxPax, I mean, maybe MaxPax a little bit less so because he's so unique when it comes to his PvP builds. But you can like learn from that, and you can study those replays as well and try to emulate your opponents. There's a lot of value that you can gain there if you are looking to improve at StarCraft and looking to compete in these open tournaments. Definitely. I always remember learning from Cham's replays back in the day. That was like back in 2015, 2016. Getting my hand on Cham's replays, on Miyamaika's replays. Good times. But yeah, with that, GG. GG, well played. Yeah. With that, just the one viewer replay here. I do have a couple more, but I mentioned before that I do feel a little bit uneasy about casting too many viewer replays right now. Just because, you know, I'm waiting for a package, so I kind of want to focus there. But yeah, with that, GG, well played. Shout out to Claire. Shout out to Byun, of course, for winning the game. Very hard fought victory there for Byun. And next time we have a bit of a shorter broadcast, I'll be going over the rest of the viewer replays. I have a replay from Demi, I have a replay from Yaku, and I have a replay from Hyper One as well. So I have 3 more replays to go over eventually. I'll get there. I will get there. They're understanding that it's going to take a little bit longer to get into them. Otherwise, thanks so much. Thanks so much for watching. We're going to be going on an extended break in a way. The stream is going to be going down, and we're going to be live once again in 7 hours. In 7 hours time, we're going to be live here on this channel with the StarCraft Evolution League Group B. Group B here is going to be live on the channel. I might be with Yaku, might not be. Again, Yaku does have some other engagements IRL that he has to attend to. If he's free, he'll join me. If not, he'll join me next time. Join me next time. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Again, StarCraft Evolution is just a nice break from StarCraft. It's very refreshing as well, so I do recommend tuning in. It's a great time. Check out the VODs on YouTube. The VODs are also already there, as we do stream on both YouTube and Twitch at the same time. Otherwise, see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Hasta luego, papi. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.